We made it, guys. Sorry we're a few minutes late here.
Thanks for tuning in with us. It's been really inspiring seeing just sort of everyone rallying behind this idea and this cause. I know me personally, I have just been really stressed out and depressed, just seeing the news every day and trying to feel like I could contribute some way, just feeling so helpless to what's going on in the Ukraine. And I know there are quite a bit of filmmakers in our community, both editors and cinematographers, wedding filmmakers, photographers. And so it became, pretty personal to us. We've worked with editors in the Ukraine over the past 6 or 7 years. We have good friends over there. And so we just felt like our hands were tied, and what better way than to be able to just rally our momentum, our synergy, our community, and everyone involved is so talented, and we're so grateful for all the contributions that everyone's donated.
Yeah, and for those of you just tuning in, we were a few minutes behind today, so you haven't missed anything. Whitney and Alex sculpting with time just to start things off.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, and one of the things that we've been so amazed by that we've watched develop and we felt really a part of is just this community of filmmakers from across the world coming together, and like everyone is so super kind and supportive. We've seen it with Vision Quest, we've seen it online on all the Facebook forums, and so we kind of thought this was a great opportunity to bring together some of our friends we've worked with, people we admire, and just kind of see how we could contribute. So today there are going to be a few different ways that you can specifically help out. One is just by watching this, right? That helps. And sharing the links. You can donate a couple bucks if you want to. We have the little URL right there to our website. Thank you, Jason and Wedding Film School, for putting that together for us. And you can donate money if you want, big or small, anything helps. You can purchase LUTs pack, where Alex put together a pack from multiple different studios.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I've never seen, everyone's so sort of brand independent. I've never seen sort of a community of filmmakers rally behind a cause like this and all be willing to so selflessly contribute, 2 or 3 LUTs. And so we have this like really cool group of filmmakers, Christian from Fire and Ice. We have Ricardo Fazoli. We have With Heart. We have Brothers Martins. We have Gamut, which includes White and Reverie, Matt Johnson, and us. So that's a pretty cool, unique thing where you get to kind of get a few LUTs from everybody.
It's $50. We're selling unlimited of those. And just to reiterate a super important point, from the very beginning, 100% of everything we raised today, and we've already raised like $1,500 while we were waiting to get all of our tech stuff set up. Everything goes straight to a few of our Ukrainian friends we were talking about, and they're buying medicine and supplies and food for their local communities. So it makes me feel really good that you guys are helping us to support other people, and everyone can play a part. So LUTs Packs is one way. Another way is through purchasing mentoring sessions, and we are almost sold out of those. We've got a couple left, but I'll let Alex kind of break down what we were offering there.
As Winnie was saying, 100% of this, everyone just sort of donated their time, their efforts, and their talent to this. So 100% of the money goes towards sort of boots on the ground, a few filmmakers that we know that are really heavily invested in the relief efforts. So that's primarily in the town of Chernovitsy and Kyiv, and helping get medical supplies, food, and other supplies to the people in need there. So it's pretty exciting that we could rally this rally all the people together to make this happen. The mentor sessions, they're 1-hour sessions, with extremely talented filmmakers. These are normally like $600 to $700 each. And we decided, we didn't need to request that much money. We wanted it to feel like a deal to the people that were getting them, and that they were also, contributing to something for the better good. So it's kind of a win-win for everyone. And more than anything, just trying to help provide aid to those in need.
Yeah, and we had mentoring sessions with 31 Films, Brothers Martins, Fiore Films, Bottle Brush, Monica Frias, Alessandro Bordini, and us as well. So really cool range of different filmmakers with different styles that were all offering up their time. And it's nice to have that one-on-one time with different people just to see how they work and pick their brains on techniques or how they build out concepts. So hopefully you guys can grab those last remaining mentoring sessions. As we mentioned earlier, there was only one available for each filmmaker. So last way we have on the site listed below that you guys can help out and show support. We have a list under the tab. It's called Hire an Editor, where it lists a lot of different super talented Ukrainian and I think a few Russian editors in there, and has people's names, their website, any relevant work if there is. And so you guys, I know everyone is crushed with backlog. No one can seem to get their edits done in time. And so that might be a great resource for you to reach out to some new people that would probably really love the work.
Yeah, totally. It's a great list, great resource. Besides donating, there's so many people there that need work and need the money and, want to do everything they can to earn it. So yeah, please support those that are on that list if you can. They're extremely talented filmmakers and would love to be able to work for you. With that being said, I still wanted to give a huge shout out to a few people. I'd love to thank just all the filmmakers that contributed to this, that they believed in this, that they believed in us. And I know there are times very valuable. So a huge, huge thank you to all the filmmakers that are a part of this sort of collective, as well as the admins for these various groups, from How to Film Weddings, Wedding Film School, and Wedding Videographers for allowing us to use their platforms to host and live stream this event. And then last but not least, a huge, beyond huge thank you to Jason McCutcheon of Wedding Film School. Without him, I can't illustrate this enough, but without him, this event wouldn't happen.
Never. Whole Wedding Film School crew too. I mean, a village.
Yeah, they just did so much of the back end stuff and did it so selflessly, and we're so behind this cause. And Jason just really went above and beyond to try and make this happen. So I cannot thank him enough for all the hours he's contributed to making this sort of vision and dream a reality.
So he's going to pop on in a minute and interview Alex and kind of kick off today. We're thinking we're going to do kind of film breakdowns with some different filmmakers and kind of get insight into their process. But first, we want to share a couple videos from some of our Ukrainian friends, kind of showing some of the supplies they've been buying.
We don't need to do that now, I don't think.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, we would have Jason popping on, and he's going to give Alex a little interview, and I'm going to pop on the back end of things here now.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Could everybody hear me?
Thank you, Jason.
What's up, Jason?
Hi, everybody out there. Super glad to be on here. So we did it, Alex. We got live.
Man, we were a few minutes late, but if you guys could have seen our faces and our hearts, just how stressful this was on the back end. We were up down to the very last second, but yeah, Jason kept his composure and weaved some magic in the back end.
I like the pressure. So so Alex, what do you want to do first? Do you want to watch a film real quick, or do you want to just talk?
Well, let's just talk about the format real quick.
Okay.
So basically, we're going to have this slotted in like 5 or 6 different segments. They'll all be kind of 30-minute segments. First, it's going to be me talking about some of our films, Sculpting with Time's work. And then I believe it's Christian from Fire and Ice, and then Sharon from Fiore Films. And then where are we going from there, Jason? Then we're going to Wedding Film School.
We'll do some
No,
film
Joey
critiques.
Matthews.
Joey
We're going to
Matthews, of
have Joey.
course.
Yeah, Joey Matthews from 31 Films, talking about some of their Disney campaign that they've been working on, which kind of blends their commercial and their wedding work. And then we'll have Wedding Film School doing their film critiques with Jason, Jared, and myself. And then Bottle Brush is going to hop on last due to the time change. It's going to be like 7:30 in the morning there. But I would not be surprised if Grace was banging back some fireballs. So we'll see. Let's that's kind of going to be the format. I think it should be fun. We're not going to get too heavy into stuff to where, we're going to talk to our strengths, which I think is filmmaking. So we're just going to provide some educational content for you guys to enjoy. And then, if you feel so compelled, we'd love it if you would consider donating to the cause in any form or fashion.
And just hi to everybody on the YouTube channel. Hi to everybody in Wedding Videographers, How to Film Weddings, Wedding Film School. Hopefully you guys are doing awesome. We can see your comments, by the way. So if you got comments in the chat, throw them up there. I can even go like this, Alex. And everyone can see them. So
cool. Yeah, why not?
So anyway, we're doing Alex, if you don't know, I guess it'd be weird that you're on the the live stream if you didn't know Alex at all. But Alex is a filmmaker. Who? How long have you been doing this, Alex? I probably never have asked you that.
Yeah, it's getting up there, man. I think we're approaching 10 years now. So pretty exciting. I remember our first wedding was, in a gymnasium that we were basically paying them to film the wedding. And it was, a school gymnasium, or church gymnasium.
And now you went from the gymnasium to France.
Yeah, to France. And we kind of film all over the world now, which is, it's pretty fun and exciting, but you do travel a lot. But we don't really film in our home city that much anymore, for better or worse. I mean, we kind of wish there were some days where we could just go home and sleep in our own bed.
Throw a Pelican in the back of the car and drive somewhere for an hour and then drive back.
Yeah. But I mean, I think wherever you are in your career, whatever your path is, doing wedding filmmaking, I think it's, beyond liberating, being your own boss and getting paid for kind of what's in here, and getting paid for your eye and your creativity. And I think, at the core of it, that's what we were so inspired by when we started out as wedding filmmakers. And, that continues to be sort of our passion and our drive.
Yeah. So why don't do you want to watch a film first and then talk about the film, or do you want to keep talking about filmmaking in general?
I don't know why you did that.
Okay. I can still hear you.
Just a second, man.
So what we're going to do at some point, guys, if you're watching the stream, is we're going to talk, and we are going to watch a couple films.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We are going to watch a couple films. Alex is just having some audio issues, but he'll get that working again soon. But we're going to watch a couple Alex's films.
I can't hear him.
And then we're going to talk about filmmaking. So I'm just letting Alex fix his thing.
Am I creating too much of an echo if I have it very, very quietly on the computer?
Let's see.
Speaker?
Can you hear me?
Give me a second. Yes, I can hear you.
I don't really hear an echo, so.
Okay, let's keep going that way then.
Let's keep going. Okay, so do you want to watch one of the films you got, Alex?
Yeah, I'd love to.
JJ Watt or the other one?
Yeah, let's start with the New Year's Eve one, I guess.
Let me make sure that is on here.
NYE.
NYE Breakers. Okay.
And let's get married.
I think in life, everyone has a purpose. Everything that we've built together today, right now, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
I know that guy. So, pretty epic, Alex. Pretty epic.
Thanks, man.
I'm always curious about these films and like weddings like this because most of us are working weddings and it's like in terms of scale of the actual event, we're talking like here compared to that event. Like, what are the logistical challenges as a filmmaker? Maybe you can speak in terms of this specific wedding that are presented when you're like kind of kicking it up that many notches in terms of celebrity couple, lightning blast appearing everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's high stakes. So, you feel like you're always kind of skating on thin ice with the planners, the couples, the venues. They expect just everything to be, the utmost professional. So, just the little things like not having a bunch of gear out anywhere, always looking your sharpest and not having, anything in your teeth or, just simple stuff like that. But then from a content standpoint, it's always a little tricky because, photography is obviously very important to our couples. And so, the value they place on that, they're always sort of the top end photographers. So that can get a little challenging just as far as everyone wants to get, the bar is set so high for each filmmaker and photographer and trying to reach that level on each film you're getting requires time, and it requires this sort of collaboration with the couple, and so you're both obviously kind of fighting for that time. But we like to say we try and play like the fly in the wall, which doesn't really, you wouldn't really think that based on the footage you see. And then we have like a handful of sort of favor cards, that we only pull out if we really, really need it. Like we make sure the photographer gets everything they want. And then it's like, oh, but I need this, but I'm not going to like step on their toes all the time. I just have to reserve the right times to kind of step on their toes.
And I think it's great that you say that because I think everybody that's listening, it's important to know like the skills that you're learning wherever you are don't go away. And it's not just about shooting, it's people skills and how do we even cover this event properly. I think you're still going to have to negotiate these relationships, no matter how epic, no matter if you're sculpting with time or you're a person watching on Wedding Film School. So I had a couple of just filmmaking questions about that. I loved, why don't you talk a little bit about kind of that post-production process from like, you take a clip, you got all this beautiful shots, right? There's like post zooms, there's all these things that you're doing with the clips. How much of the decisions you're making in the edit are you making in camera and you're like, oh, I'm going to do a post zoom here, or I'm going to do this? Or are you just always kind of giving yourself space to do whatever you want and you're shooting it a certain way because you know how you like to edit?
I mean, I think the shoot definitely informs the edit to some degree, but then there's always flexibility with the edit as far as just seeing what's available to kind of connect. I mean, we do a lot of match cuts sort of in our films to try and have like our edits feel smoother with whether it's just visual, symmetry from one cut to the next, or sometimes the movement of the camera, to have those kind of seem like more seamless transitions. But then, yeah, we'll do some stuff in camera as far as, whether it's putting crystals in front of the camera or doing whip pans or, doing extended sort of movie shots, gimbal shots further than like you typically would just to get your shot. And time lapses, drones, all that. We basically just want to allow ourselves to have as many options as possible and as much sort of creative flexibility when we get to our edit, so that we're not constrained, by the footage to where there's only one linear path. But then you sort of have this sort of playground or sort of sandbox to kind of explore once you get to the edit, and things can be more malleable at that point.
That's that's just always one of those things that I think it's so important to know too, is like you're only as good as your plan a lot of times, but then also weddings are live events. You kind of it's kind of a you got to take what you get, right? And like you said, the shoot informs the edit. So do you want to do that other film before we move on?
Yeah, let's do the other film, and then I do like some of these questions, so I'm happy to try and answer a few of these after I watch the other film.
And we got some other folks popping in with questions, but I think we'll get to those right after this. So let's watch this other film. This is a film. Do you want to kind of set it up while I add it?
Yeah, so this is J.J. Watt and Kaylee Ohai. He's, 3-time MVP, defensive MVP for the Texans. And then Kaylee is a professional soccer player. So they have a pretty interesting dynamic. They met when they were both doing rehab, like pretty extensive rehab, like broken legs and broken backs and stuff like that. So they both leaned on each other heavily when they're, sort of in their most vulnerable states. So it was interesting seeing sort of the relationship on a more intimate and personal level. But then obviously there were a lot of sort of logistical hurdles. It took us 2 years to basically be able to release this film, just due to a lot of challenges with getting approval and sort of the writing and the contract. But at the end of the day, us sort of just really trying to appease our client versus sort of going nuclear ended up helping us resolve this a lot more, in an easy way, I guess. I'm sorry, I get distracted when I'm reading the comments, but so I mean, I think from a logistical standpoint, it was definitely something to hang our laurels on and just sort of feel really proud of. But there's a lot of cool technical stuff in the film too.
And I was going to say, one of the things I like about the film is like kind of keeping track of like the mutual vulnerability that you're pulling out of a couple. And I would say, like, if you're watching the film, watch the eye candy, of course, but also watching how Alex and I think Alex and Whitney are a master at taking couples who maybe would be a little bit aloof, maybe a little distant, high profile couples and kind of pulling that vulnerability out of them and showing it on screen. That's really what wedding filmmaking is all about. And so I think this film does a good job with that. So let's check it out.
May you always need one another. Not so much to fill your emptiness, is to help you know your fullness.
That's true.
So let it be with you and you. May you need one another, but not out of weakness. May you want one another, but not out of lack. May you entice one another, but not to compel one another. May you look for little things to praise and often say, I love you. May you have love, and may you find it loving one another.
JJ, I love you more than anything in the entire world.
So good. Alex, so why don't you talk? One thing I love about the film is, and just about your filmmaking in general, is that you always are kind of creating a sense of place in the film. It's like the couple's a couple is part of it, and the event is a subject and a character, but then the place is a subject and a character. Why don't you talk a little bit about maybe in this film how you have Houston and you have Bahamas, right? But just in general, the philosophy of like creating a sense of grounding in place.
Yeah. Just I have to answer this one question. Rushing Productions, yes. How much stock footage? There's zero stock footage in that film. I mean, there's probably one stock footage shot per like 5 films that we put out. Yeah, so that kind of goes into the sense of place, is that, and it also goes into the question about pre-production that was asked earlier. And so, yeah, we definitely consider the location, since we are filming, most of these are destination weddings. We do consider the location sort of a third character. If this couple is traveling all the way, to the Bahamas, for instance, in this one, and they're flying a lot of their guests out, and it's a big ordeal, their memory is very much, associated with that location. I mean, they'll forever return to that location when they celebrate their anniversaries, or when they, to like taste a sense of their memory or their history or their wedding. And so, yeah, we like to key in on that, one, from, its importance, but two, just from a visual, fidelity standpoint, and a cinematic standpoint, to make things just feel more, saturated, more cinematic. To me, a wedding, I might get kind of, beat up for saying this, but I feel like it's sort of obvious what the outcome is. There's no sort of suspense as a viewer. It's like everyone knows that the outcome of this sort of film, there's no sort of problem to solve. So I feel like already I can create some gaps and let the viewer fill in those gaps, because I can rely on my viewer to kind of be smart enough to fill in those gaps. Everything doesn't have to be so.
Yeah, it's like an artificial. I love this about your films, is like you have B-roll to create that artificial sense of suspense, the dynamics that come with the normal story, where you got a hero, oh, they're in trouble, oh, they overcome. That's good storytelling. And when I'm filmmaking, it's like this. It's just up and up and up. And I think it can get boring. And I think when you take place, cool looking B-roll, all this cool stuff that you're constantly doing, you're creating that sense of tension.
Right.
And I think that's so important to making storytelling compelling, and actually telling a real story with a wedding film.
Right.
Cool. Do you want to get to some questions? Yeah, we got a couple questions. Let's just quick fire these things real quick, and then we'll get to Christians. So we have a lot of people asking about pre-production and consults. And so really, how much time are you spending in pre-production typically? Maybe not, and maybe you want to use this JJ Watt wedding as an example. Maybe that's not a great example because it was an outlier, but typically.
Yeah, I mean, as far as access with the couple, or, phone calls or anything like that, usually at this kind of level, which this is one of the things that I don't like about doing weddings sort of at this scale or this level, is that usually the planners want you one step removed from the couple, and it's part of sort of the high-end experience for their client, is they want everything kind of hands off and easy breezy for the client. That obviously can lead to you not connecting with the couple as much. However, we try and do our best when it's appropriate to sort of request access, or, say that it would be of benefit, or if they're willing to, if they're up for it, if you would suggest, us being able to do a Zoom call or whatever, then that can happen. In this case, we knew the planner, and so we were able to. She really trusted us, so we were able to sell her, and then she in turn was able to sell the couple on doing, a private shoot in their home, in their bed, on their couch, whatever. Just so,
Ooh.
yeah, I know that sounds a little saucy and
Ooh.
but no, it was more just to like break down those walls. Like, you see JJ like laughing and giggling, like that's just so not his typical persona. So, requesting those things and having that level of trust with the planner, and then the planner having that level of trust with the client. That doesn't happen all the time, but if you do build those relationships, you do build that level of trust and confidence with those planners, and therefore you can request more because they know what the end result is. And ultimately, your film is going to be their billboard, and so they want you to best serve them, and are willing to kind of do whatever they can to appease you.
Yep. At the end of the day, vulnerability, it's hard to pull out of people, but I think it is what makes these films great. So, okay, and then we have a lot of questions about music.
Yeah. So just one last thing on pre-production, like, just researching the space, knowing like where the wedding is going to be, both the venue, and then kind of trying to search as much as I can about that venue on all social media channels, all hashtags, all that type of stuff. And then, looking at the location itself, the city, the town, what is unique about that place, what, even on like TripAdvisor or whatever, looking at every sort of media channel that sort of reviews or, populates information about that geography or that city, from a tourist perspective, being an outsider. So yeah, looking at all those resources, and then just, trying to figure out, once I have an idea of what all those sort of images are or ideas, whether it's the private shoots, what should those be about, where should they be placed, and then, locations for B-roll, how is that all going to blend together? And then, just keying in on what are the most beautiful aspects that I can really take advantage of. And to me was that ceremony space where it looks like the sort of old ruins. And so that sort of became this sort of central third character. So we did a lot of like shadow time lapses of that, and a lot of drone footage, and a few B-roll shots of the couple there. And so, that's kind of the pre-production side of things in a nutshell.
So music is important, and it's a great process. So let's just, for our final question, just talk a little bit about your music kind of selection process, and kind of how you think about that when you're, editing. Do you do any music choosing before you shoot, or are you always kind of picking everything after the day?
Yeah. We pick all our music afterwards. I mean, there's occasionally times where it's like, okay, I've been saving this song or this set of songs for a while, and I have a better idea of what film it could work on, and so I'll kind of like set those aside. But typically, I just have vast buckets of music based on mood that I've searched hours upon hours and weeks upon weeks on every platform. I'm not only going to be on MusicBed. I'm not only going to be on Artlist. I'm not only going to be on, whatever various tracks music. Every platform that's available, I have at least, 150 songs or more, and various folders based on their moods, their tempos. And then that makes it a lot easier when it comes time to edit. Although I'm always, circulating or always sort of digging for new music, but at least I have those songs to kind of look through first.
That's always the trick with the wedding filmmaking too, is like It isn't if the other day we were talking about a song and I was like, that's a dope song. And I've seen it 100 times. So it's like, how do you can stay ahead of the curve? How do you keep innovating when it comes to sound and music and all that junk? We just kind of wait for whatever Alex uses and then copy it. That's
Little update, guys. We have raised $2,300 as of now.
woo.
Little update. We've raised $2,300 as of now.
We're gonna have Kristen fire his pop on.
Yeah, so that's
All
very
right.
exciting. Thank you guys so much for contributing, for supporting this, and for believing in us and believing in this cause. And I feel like I just knew no matter how much time and effort it was going to take that we just needed to do something. And it's so cool seeing everyone sort of rally behind this and contributing, and small ways and big, and every penny counts, and every penny is going to help someone in some fashion or form. So thank you guys.
Okay, so I'm going to bring Christian on, and you guys can have at it. Just make sure, tell me which film to put up there, Alex. That's theirs, and we'll go.
Okay, I think it's in the folder for, I don't know.
Yeah, I have them uploaded already. I just don't know the names, the different titles. They're all just
okay. Let me see.
We got Millie and Nick, Casey, Trevor. Anyway, let me know, and I'll bring Christian on.
Okay. Hey, wait, can you look in the folders on the...
You can hear me as Millie and Nick.
Oh, there it is. Millie and Nick.
How you
What's
doing?
up, Christian?
How's it going, man? Nice to see you.
Oh, man, so good to see you.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time to come on here. Christian is extremely talented filmmaker and photographer based out of the UK. His films just have so much vibe and so much style. And as far as pre-production, this guy takes pre-production to like the utmost next level. We've known each other for a while, just kind of supporting each other on various forums. Whenever we would share work, we'd always kind of just you'd comment about mine and I comment about yours. There's sort of this story. It's sort of off topic, but Stanley Kubrick and the Russian filmmaker Tarkovsky, they were both filmmakers in the 60s. And, Kubrick would release 2001, and then Tarkovsky would release Solaris, and they'd be kind of they'd not be competing, but they'd be kind of like a song or a conversation of back and forth to each other. So it's kind of cool, even though we're across the pond from each other, like seeing how your work's evolved and developed, and likewise how our work has sort of changed and developed over the years.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, and I do appreciate those conversations. And I'm so sorry I couldn't catch up with you when I was in Houston back last month. But you know how those events go, man. I did not have a few minutes to spare there. It was in and out.
No, this is like one of the most busy men on the planet. Like it's so hard to even catch him on WhatsApp or whatever, just because he's got a million things going on at once. He's not only an amazing artist, but like as an entrepreneur on the business side of things, like really has stuff down. How many people do you have on your team, Christian?
Currently 10.
10
so
people.
there's 10, including myself and my wife, Jackie, but also 5 kids, which take up the majority of my time,
Man, that's amazing. I don't know how you do it, but to spare a few minutes for us, thank you.
No problem. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, as always.
Yeah, so we have sort of a special treat as far as a film to show of yours. I hadn't seen this one publicly, and it has a really unique story to it as far as the couple and elements that you were able to incorporate into the film based on their character and relationship to each other, and sort of what was going on, in the times. I feel like so many times that weddings just sort of feel like there's a template and, it's a business. And so you just kind of follow, copy, paste, repeat kind of formula, but it's creatively fulfilling when you take the time to kind of take a step back and see who this couple really is and what their story really is, and how can how can that, affect the film, the final product, basically. And I think this is a really unique story of how, this is not your typical wedding film, and it's based on a lot of circumstance and based on who the couple is.
Yeah, I mean, I specifically chose this film. Obviously, it's probably the opposite side of the spectrum to the one you just shown. But obviously, we do have similar wedding films in terms of location, France chateaus and different countries that we've gone and shot. But I think I chose this one because I think it offers more in terms of creativity and trying to, I guess, make something out of basically nothing, I guess, and get super creative with a couple, without having, these factors of location, beautiful venues, florists, or other vendors. So it's basically stripped right back and just getting creative with, I mean, we use water pistols in this film, for an example, to try and mimic rain. So it kind of gets a bit creative with just nothing. Yeah. All the rain in these shots are done with water pistols.
Water pistols?
Yeah, it was a summer's evening.
I've ever seen that before. I mean, I've heard of like using the leaf blowers to kind of simulate wind, in people's hair for slow-mo and stuff, which that's a really cool effect if anyone wants to try that. But yeah, water pistols, that's next level, man. That's so cool.
I chose this specifically because I think it's just more to talk about in terms of getting creative with using basically nothing. And it is quite of an old film. It was during COVID. It's about 18 months old, I think, this film. So yeah.
But I think that's what's cool is sometimes when we have constraints, to sort of our shooting or editing process, that can, yield more fascinating results. Like when you have every single tool available to you or every single like possibility, sometimes it can be a little daunting as far as what direction to go, and you kind of get that deer in the headlights syndrome. And sometimes when you have these limitations, like it being in the middle of COVID and maybe not everything was open, or the wedding wasn't really necessarily a wedding itself, that these sort of creative restraints or limitations kind of can force you to be a little more creative as far as what you're going to do with your subjects and ultimately the end product.
Exactly. And when, we can get super creative with these ones because, as you said, it doesn't have the overwhelming aspects of a wedding in terms of like wedding planners chasing us and constricted times. So we can get super creative in the planning process. This was kind of around the era where I changed my mindset in regards to weddings in general, I guess, and seeing how far I can push something instead of just, turning up and just covering the job and doing a standard job. I wanted to see how far I could push the project, and it's kind of been a template ever since. We run through this strict planning process, and we use different apps in order to plan. Obviously working in a team helps that way. I mean, the solo shooters out there, I think it's a little bit more difficult to do this, but like we literally have a process where we sit down and we storyboard weddings. So even before we shoot these weddings, we know the opening shot, the closing shot, the audio, the theme, the tempo, etc. So yeah, it was kind of born from this era around 2 years ago.
Cool, man. Yeah, you want to go ahead and show the film?
Let's do it. I don't have to do that, right?
No.
Okay.
Jason's the odds behind the curtains right now.
Okay.
Here we go, guys. Film in 3, 2, 1.
Britain's Prime Minister has announced a nationwide lockdown to fight the coronavirus. Boris Johnson told the British people that the government was shutting down non-essential shops and services and banning gatherings of more than 2 people. Tonight, Donald Trump declared a national emergency in the United States in response to the threat from the coronavirus. The World Health Organization says Europe is now the epicenter of the global coronavirus.
In the government press conference today, they put R between 0.7 and 1. That's slightly higher than it was last week. But have a look at this.
Rules were announced. It's clear that most people are pleased to be allowed to have some exercise outside and are trying very hard to abide by the new regulations.
So those are actually masks made from the wedding dress.
The occasion, because I think it would have been disappointing for us to have watched the date go by.
I think there's an echo there.
Without celebrating in any way. So we've got our nearest and dearest, my family and Nick's family, and some of our bridesmaids and their partners, and we're having a white party with a nice marquee on the lawn, just to kind of toast the date and look forward to next year.
Two years in planning. 25th of July we went for the date because it was a nice easy one to remember. 25th of July 2020.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a catchy date that we could remember for our anniversaries in years to come. A nice summer wedding. But with COVID-19, it's had to be postponed till May next year. So we've got another kind of year to get excited all over again.
Something more. Aren't you tired trying to fill that void? Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping so hardcore? I'm falling. And in the good times I found myself. And in the bad times I feel myself. I'm off the deep end, watch as I dive in. I'll never make the ground. Crash to the surface where they can't hurt us. We're far from the shallow now. In the shallow.
Hello.
You back, boys?
What's going on? Yeah, it was a slight echo through the first part of that one.
Oh, sorry about that, man.
That's good. That's good.
So yeah, I don't know if anyone is able to hear, but you want to talk a little bit about some of the things that were unique to that film? I know them, but like for instance, the masks or the song. I thought those were very fascinating.
Yeah, so just to give a little backstory to that specific shoot, they were supposed to be getting married on the day we shot that, and obviously instead of getting married, because due to COVID, there were the postponements, they decided to have a white party, as they called it, and they actually cut the wedding dress up. She didn't want to use the wedding dress. She thought it was kind of, it was, I guess tainted because of the mass postponements. I mean, this bride and groom postponed twice. And they still haven't had that actual wedding yet, which we do to shoot it again in a few months' time. So it'd be 3 times they're postponing their wedding. So they decided to have like a white party. It's shot at their house in the garden. So it's not, it's not an epic location. It's literally a marquee in a garden. And I didn't want to just show up and just basically cover the event. I wanted to go a little bit more in depth. So during the consultation process, by asking some questions and how I'm trying to get to the bottom of who they are as people, she told me the bride is actually she likes to sing. She's not a professional singer, but she likes to sing. She played me one or two of her tracks, and I thought she had a phenomenal voice. So that's actually the bride singing in that film. During which we also recorded on location, so we didn't have the studio and stuff. So this is why I chose.
That's so
yeah,
wild.
it's
That's
literally
the
like just
bride
a
singing.
H6 holding it.
Yeah. Was Instagram like, oh, I'm copyright flagging that? I know that song.
It actually didn't do that, which I was surprised, and it may be because of the lyrics change, I guess, and it didn't do that. No, but a lot of people were like, "How are you using Lady Gaga and stuff?" And I'm like, "It's not actually Lady Gaga; it's her." The groom actually sings in there as well, but in all honesty, he wasn't as good as her, so we kind of like muted him a little bit.
Like, yeah, I don't know what happened to your audio, man.
Yeah, didn't press record. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all shot in the garden, and we kind of wanted to give it this notebook feel. And it was around the time where that song was quite big, and it was the film, I think, with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. So it kind of went hand in hand with that time. And yeah, we just got super creative, and like I said, we was using water pistols. The lightning is actually just our Rotolight kits all synced up, backlighting the fires and stuff. So we just got creative with what we had. Done a little interview with them, and the great thing about that film is that all of the local newspapers, well, national newspapers, picked that up because it was at such a prime time of COVID, and they're all sharing the story using this film. So it wasn't a bad thing that had some marketing aspects to the idea.
Wow, that's so cool. That's a great billboard, and tons of free advertising there. So, I mean, I understand why they would too. I mean, your films are so spellbinding and like Hollywood. I really love the storytelling elements in that film too. Sometimes you go really slick, which I love your slick films. This still has that slickness, but there's definitely like a deeper story here, and good for you for seeing that this story was sort of underneath the surface, and that you could dig a little deeper and key in on some really unique aspects of their story. Were you saying their masks were the wedding dress as well?
Yeah. So the mask they wear in the white party, her mom's a seamstress, so she cut up the wedding dress. I mean, it wasn't cheap. They actually told me the price, and I was absolutely shocked that they did that. But they cut the wedding dress up and made masks out of them, because obviously the restrictions during those times, even having a gathering in your own backyard, required masks and social distancing, etc. So yeah, they cut the wedding dress up, and then they bought a new wedding dress ready for the next one, because they thought it was kind of like tainted, I guess.
Nice. I'm always I got a little sidetracked while we were off the film. I had to handle some things, so you didn't see my unbridled enthusiasm when the film was over, like, because I wasn't watching it. But when I saw this film for the first time, I feel like every time I watch your films, there's something new that's happening kind of in them. And you're kind of exploring different aspects of filmmaking, and I find that kind of similar in both of our styles. Like, is what makes you want to push in different directions? Do you get bored like doing stuff, or are you always just kind of excited to see what else you can kind of do, or what is it what's your drive, I guess?
I guess, going back to what you said when I was listening to your interview, where you said that weddings have this template and everyone kind of knows the outcome already. I mean, trying to change the viewing of the audience, I guess, already has an understanding, or they kind of think they know what's going to happen in a wedding film, and then shocking people is actually my drive. Is like, whoa, that's different, that's very unique. So we will try different things in weddings, but we always do fall back to that safe. make sure we're covering the wedding is the standard. Make sure we get every aspect of that wedding, because it is about memories at the end of the day. But trying to get all of this bonus creative content is kind of a skill that I've trying to hone in on. So sometimes we will just completely go crazy. And you've seen the one where we're taking like projectors, the waterfalls, just for the engagement sessions.
I was just going to mention that. I don't know if everyone's familiar with all your work, but yeah, just to briefly summarize, they took their couple to a waterfall, but they knew they wanted to sort of project on the back of the waterfall so that it acts as sort of a screen. And so they, walked all the way out there with a generator and everything and a projector. I mean, the level of pre-production on this guy's films and the vision that they have and the willingness to do whatever it takes to execute it is really inspiring.
Yeah, and I guess it goes back to when I mentioned that we work in a team, and it's a very creative team, and having multiple minds in this business, I think is a huge factor in regards to our creativity and success. I guess Fire and Ice is only 4 years old now, minus the pandemic, so we've kind of like inserted ourselves as very different in that time frame. And that's down to teamwork and team planning and surrounding myself with people who have the same passion and same, and kind of creativity. And we bounce ideas off each other, and it goes from a small idea and it ends up, we're doing crazy stuff. And that's what I love about this job. And it never feels like a day, I work a day in my life when I'm doing this. So I do really appreciate my, my work.
Yeah. I'm going through here. Do we have any questions? I'm looking. Looks like we have a Naked HD online strips that got in here. Oh, it's a YouTube heckler. Oh yeah, someone was saying it's really impressive that was the actual song. Yeah, so she's a professional singer, or?
No, she's not a professional. She's just like a hobbyist singer that she sings she said, telling me she sings in the shower a lot. But she had like this unique voice.
Professional shower singer.
Professional shower singer. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, someone's saying like, holy Lord, you guys have only been in business 4 years. So what do you attribute to your growth to get as far as you've gotten in such a short amount of time?
That's a tough one. Pure passion. I mean, we're running on passion, and like not the money side of it. That was big when I first started. I didn't really care what I was charging, because I loved doing what I was doing so much that I would have done it for free, obviously, if I didn't have any bills. So that kind of thing helps a lot, that I actually enjoy what I do, and I don't look at it as a business. And I know for a fact that if I work hard and then I'm going to go somewhere in the end, and it's paying off dividends now with a big company, and we travel the world. We shoot 130 weddings this year, I think we have on the books between the team, obviously not just me doing that. I would literally fall over and die if I tried to do that amount of weddings. But it's kind of transitioning into the multiple days events, which I'm excited for, to spend more time shooting at a location. I mean, it's gone from 1 day events and trying to cram a lot of creativity into that 1 day to trying to spread it over a few days, which I'm excited for. I've done a few like that, where we do on location and destination weddings, but mainly for the past 2 or 3 years, we've been shooting weddings, just single day events, just normal average weddings, nothing, out of the ordinary. And I guess that's where we're trying to push them and change the game and change the story behind that wedding, whilst also maintaining the standard of delivery in terms of just coverage and memories for a wedding day. So we offer multiple films as a delivery in terms of just one film, so we can get creative on one, and then we still offer the more standard wedding, as I guess you'd see the memories, ceremony and speeches, etc. Yeah.
Do you notice that most of your weddings are photo and video, or because you run a photography business as well, or are you doing video only a fair amount, or photo only, or what does that sort of look like for you?
The majority, 90% of our weddings are photo and video. So we shoot in teams, around 4 to 5 people, depending on the size of the event. And some weddings we have taken all 10 people 2, and some we've taken 3. So it does vary on the size of the event. But yeah, photo and video, we started as photographers. I'm a photographer. I started as a photographer, and I kind of like fell in love with filmmaking while shooting these weddings. So I still shoot photo more than I do video, and but I have a heavy hand in the direction and trying to make couples do things they wouldn't ordinarily do, because we're working with average, just everyday people here. They're not actors, or I mean, those guys you just saw in the film are just normal people. They're not actors, they're not singers. So trying to make those make them do something they wouldn't usually do is kind of a skill in itself, and it's hard to teach that. You kind of like it's confidence in just doing it over and over and over again, and seeing how far you can push someone. So it's that's what I enjoy. Is trying to get the most out of the clients when they wouldn't usually do that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we have about 5 more minutes. I want to thank you for coming on, Christian. Is there anything you'd like to, we'll take a few questions. Is there anything you'd like to talk about? Anything you're excited about going into this next year?
Man, to be honest with you, excitement. I'm excited for some, but it's been a tough year for this last year with all the postponements, and we shot over like 150 weddings last year, and the whole team was kind of tired. So it's a little bit scary going into this year, knowing we have 130, but everyone is keen to get it done. So we started the pre-production on a lot of the weddings upcoming. We have 3 destination weddings next month in Morocco, Atlanta, and where's the other one? Scotland, I think. Yeah, Scotland, around the same time. So me sending 3 teams out to do 3 different destinations in 3 different countries is a little scary one next year for me, next month. So
that is scary. That's awesome, man. Since you guys do shoot so much and you do so heavily rely on your creativity to kind of fuel your films, I'm curious how you kind of deal with burnout and with shooting that much. How do you continue to stay focused or inspired? How do you sort of renew that sort of creative fire in you?
I don't know. I think it's just turn up. When I turn up, the adrenaline kicks in, and I don't feel the tiredness or burnout anymore. But like I mentioned at the start of this interview, I have 5 children aged from 2 to up to 15, and that's the hardest part for me, is being away from those. So I'm trying to build something. I'm trying to build something here that I can actually leave to them, I guess, or give them something that I didn't have growing up. But it comes with a lot of sacrifice. This is a very demanding task that I have ahead of me, and that I've kind of made my bed, so I'm trying to lay in it now. But we are looking at toning it down, and obviously doing less weddings and spending more time per client, because the burnout is real, man. I'm not going to lie to you. It is tough. It's been tough over the last year, and I know it's going to be tough this year, and everyone knows what's coming. But luckily I have my wife is absolutely incredible, and she pushes me to be better and to wake up every morning and keep going. But yeah, it's been tough, man. This last year, I'm not going to lie, this postponements situation, it was very tough, and we're still backlogged now, and trying to get it out before the season kicks in.
How far back are you? I'll go first. I'm in like October, November.
Yeah, so I have the board up in front of me there, so I know how many. There's 63 films to get out by, and that's not 63 clients, it's 63 films in terms. Some clients have 2, some even 3. But between 5 editors, it's another month's work, if that, I think. So the guys have been working crazy.
I wish I could get 63 wedding films done.
Yeah, well, if they're pushing out around 2 a week at the moment. It's between 5 of them, that's 10 a week. It's about 40 films a month that they're getting out of the door at the moment. So
I got you beat. I was doing 5 a week.
Damn, bro. You want a job? I can do it.
I need to hire.
Yeah. So the guys are heads down working and trying to get all of this done before the season kicks in again, because we do not want to go into the season still editing last year's. But luckily, all our clients have been very understanding with the circumstances, and it is an unusual time. So our company had COVID 3 times. They went through this company 3 times, and obviously being an employment rather than just contractors. Everyone works here in these offices from 9 till 5 every day. So once one person gets COVID, the whole company has to stay at home for like 12 to 15 days. And that happened 3 times. So it put us on the back foot in terms of editing, but everyone's chipping in and making it happen. And I'm really impressed with the quality and the speed that everyone's working right now. So we have a good team.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I know there were some questions that didn't get answered. I feel like they kind of got answered in roundabout ways in our discussion. But I do apologize. We'll try and take more questions for the next segment. I just kind of got carried away because I have so many questions for Christian, and it kind of just was sort of a free-flowing conversation. But really appreciate you coming on. What time is it there, man?
It's not too late. It's like 7:30 p.m.
Okay, yeah. So we got a bit of a time change. But please give my best to your family, and it's always a pleasure to see you, man. And you guys
so much.
Such an inspiration as far as your growth and just sort of the bar that you keep setting for yourselves and for the community. Keep shining out there, man. And thanks so much for being part of this.
Same, man, and hats off for taking the time out of for doing this. I can imagine how busy you guys are. So I'm following what's happening in Ukraine right now, and it's heartbreaking to see. So well done for taking the time, and I'm happy to help. And as always, appreciate you having me in the lineup.
Thanks, brother. Always.
Take it easy, man. Thank you very much. See you soon, Alex. Bye.
All right, brother. Peace.
So, Alex, we got Sharon on the line, so let's bring her on.
Let's throw one of those videos on real quick. Can you throw on one real quick?
Yes. So why don't you kind of describe the film for people while I'm loading that up?
So this is just one of our friends in the Ukraine, Vadim Ivanov. He is an editor and filmmaker, and I just kind of have been following on his channel a little bit. And so he's living in sort of a collective community, and they all are kind of sharing this larger basement together. But as far as I know, it's I don't know how many people, but it looks like it's probably about 20 people. And so, yeah, it's just everyone kind of helping each other out and living in a basement because they're afraid of getting, bombed on in the middle of the night while they're sleeping, which I couldn't ever really imagine, having to go to sleep, worrying about that for myself, but especially obviously if you have children and not having any control over that, it's just beyond comprehension. So this is just some photos that he shared from his feed that I just threw into a very generic, pitiful slideshow. But I think it's worth 40 seconds of your time. Yeah. So it just kind of gives you a glimpse into sort of what that world is like, even in sort of the peaceful moments. They're safe, but, in the evenings, the sirens come on and, there's going to be bombs landing, but you have no idea if it's going to land on you or someone else. So
it's super heartbreaking. And I was just going to remind everybody to head over to the website. You can give, you can buy a LUT, which is the craziest deal ever, by the way. So you're crazy if you don't buy that LUT, but also you could just donate money right there. And of course we have a link if you're looking for a backlog. If you have a backlog and you're looking for help, we have Ukrainian and of course even Russian people right now are being really negatively affected financially. So We have a list of editors on there who, if you want to support in that way, you can do that. So Sharon's right here. Do you want me to bring her on?
I'd love to. That'd be
All right,
awesome.
here.
What's up, Sharon?
Hi, Alex.
Oh man, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you. I actually did like a nice little setup for you today.
Oh man, it looks so legit.
Not my usual sitting on the floor thing.
I mean, either way would have been, amazing. I like your intimate sitting on the floor sessions that we do sometimes.
I know,
too,
me too,
so.
me too. Oh, this is so here anyway.
Thank you so much for
How
coming
are you?
on. I know you're
yeah, no. It's awesome to be a part of this. It's heart-wrenching. That slideshow was heart-wrenching, and everything that we see online and going on in the news, and we know people there, personally. It's and our industry friends. It's crazy that it's even going on.
Yeah, and it's easy to kind of disconnect and just kind of go on with your lives to some degree
Yeah.
because it's not affecting us directly here. Which, I think to some extent we all have to compartmentalize over here to just kind of exist. But it's so palpable and real, obviously, for the people that are there in the Ukraine and can't just turn the channel and look the other way. So I really appreciate you donating your time and a mentorship session for this cause. It's hard to figure out a way to help, but this just felt like, as filmmakers, like, let's just use what we know how to do best to sort of raise some funds and give it to people in need, and sort of every cent sort of counts and helps. So I know your time is super valuable, but we really appreciate you being a part of this.
I love that you guys put editors on there, especially for us. We're all in need of editors now, so I'm definitely I'm going to check all of those editors out. I'm definitely down with that.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, everyone with the amount of backlog they have,
yeah.
Editing is in high demand. Cool. So I'd love to. You have a recent film that we might be able to show, and everyone, while we are showing this, I'd love to, if you guys can come up with some questions. I know I ignored some of the questions last time, so I promise we'll do better about answering some questions on this next segment. So do you want to give a little preface to this film, Sharon, that we're going to show? It's the most recent one you released.
Is it Casey and Trevor, Sharon?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, Alex, I guess you dug that one. That one was, I mean, they're an awesome couple. So we were really, really lucky, to have like an awesome couple, an awesome family. But, as always, there was, a ton of challenges on this one. Especially the location, because the location was really, really unique. It's actually a Masonic temple that was built in, like, I don't know, 1800s or something. I don't know, something crazy. The history is crazy. So there's so much, like, everything is just geometrically, like, proportioned and massive. The place is just massive. So it was really, really hard to, like, there's a lot of lines. That was really tough. And this wedding also, like Christian was, talking about the reschedules. This one was rescheduled. And luckily for us, they did a dinner rehearsal that we were asked to join, and they had speeches at the dinner rehearsal. So we were lucky enough to have that, because they really didn't have anything on their wedding day. But it was a really cool day, really cool, awesome awesome location. Yeah, and even the lighting there was really tough because it's a museum, so it wasn't like a regular venue where all the lights can be turned down, and you know, some of the lighting was really challenging. But that's it. That's the story behind that one.
Oh, cool. I don't normally get to shoot in. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's a lot of little nuances in this one, probably one of the most that we've ever had, you know, because there's just so much, like, there's so many little things, like even the bride, like the bride turning and doing all these little moves. So one of the things that she loved, that she mentioned after seeing the video was, she's like, I never noticed that I did all those, you know, little things, you know. And yeah, there were many more too, but unfortunately, like, there was like one little move she did that I really did my best to use, but my camera was moving. So it was impossible to use that.
I just got to shoot in New York, like, I think in September, and I finished one of the edits recently, and so I finally got to like see the footage, and it was in Long Island or Hamptons or whatever, but I started to like, I'm like, wow, my film looks like one of Sharon's films, and it wasn't like, it was the lighting, like New York lighting, like even just in the state, there's just something, I don't know, special and unique about it, and the way like outdoors, like the sun, the way the light falls.
Where were you?
Where was I? I was at the Gertie's. I don't know if you know where.
Oh, that's on Long Island. That's not the city.
Yeah.
That's Long Island. Yeah. Oh, Long Island has amazing locations. They have really cool locations.
Just the light.
This one was in Philly, actually. The one that you're going to show.
All right. Well, excuse me, but I started to see like how like heavy the shadows were, and there's probably no science. I'm sure there is science to it, so I can't really explain it. But the quality of light was.
There is science.
Okay.
In the Mid-Atlantic, painters used to travel specifically to Maryland just because of the way the sun would hit.
See. So thank you, Jason, for that factoid.
He just hopped on just for that.
That's awesome.
I love light. What can I say?
Yeah. So yeah, right away my film just had this glow to it. I'm like, why don't they all look like this? And yeah, it's just New York, I guess.
I mean, I definitely think the actual location and time of day makes a difference too. But there are definitely like venues and you know, locations here that like they just get better light than others. Like, you know, there's certain places where we're just like, oh, they get the best light there, you know, during this hour or that hour. But yeah, no. So I mean, when you're like in Manhattan and like Philly, and you're in like we're in more like you know, it's the venues that you're in are kind of like there's really like no windows. It's just dark. And like, you know, you have to think. But I think there is a special look to the tri-state area, like locations, and we all of us here have this like not like light and airy vibe here, you know what I mean? Because that's not what we get here. So yeah, it's definitely, I feel like it's a thing for our area, you know?
Well, but you've really keyed in on it, you know, with the sort of pockets of light that come in. The sun kind of comes in just a little bit because of the tall buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You sort of take your environment and how can I best take advantage of it and exploit it in a, you know, artistic and cinematic way. And it's cool to see how you sort of sculpt, you know, the light, so to speak. Obviously with your key lighting, which, you know, is really unique in its own right. The stuff you shoot like in receptions and everything, but even just how you use the available light around you.
Yeah. That's kind of like our thing. I feel like I feel like for us, we try to concentrate more on lighting and composition, and I mean, you know, like and really getting like real moments of the day. We don't have certain luxuries like us personally, like our specific couple. We don't get really much time for photo shoots. Certain times a year we don't even get much light outside. So yeah, we kind of have to we have to get it right and get the actual day. I personally like love our couples. You know, I appreciate it. I have this conversation all the time. I appreciate that, like, our couples are like, all right, you can have 10 minutes of our time. We just want to get to our party. And I totally appreciate that, because, and especially with their weddings that have all been rescheduled, they kind of like, there's I think that there's a different appreciation for their day and what their day is about. A lot of people like haven't seen their friends and family in one space in a long time, so they just want to be with their people. So yeah, we just kind of have to like really work quickly, work well with the photographer, get what we can, and get to the next part of the day and set up our lights as we can to move on and capture things how they're happening,
Yeah. Well, without further ado, I'd love to check out this new piece and chat about it for a second. Is it cool if we show it?
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Jason.
Alex, we're having a issue.
That's okay.
With the film. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm going to try it again. How about that?
Okay, yeah, or we can just chat. You try it one more time, and then let's cut it off.
Time.
Yeah.
That I told you earlier was really written in the stars.
Sorry about that, guys. We the beginning, it was just having a weird quirky issue. I don't know what it is, but trust me, it was sick.
I swear it's good.
Well, it was hard for us to tell because we could see it on this side, so we thought everything was, working.
I'm happy to play the whole thing again if you guys want. It's working now, so if people want to see it, I'm happy to do it again. It's up to you, Alex.
I think people would. What do you think?
Just there. It's on the Instagram. It's on
It's on the gram. Okay,
it's on
great.
the gram.
So I noticed in that film just some unique camera angles, different things that you don't normally do. Maybe like some slow-mo in there that like I don't typically see slow-mo in your work, or some of those really low camera angles that are like on the stairs where you're looking up and you see the really high ceilings and the couples, that kind of hero shot. I feel like your films like always very distinctly, like they play by their own rules, but they have rules within that sort of anarchy. And it's cool to see like you like break those rules too, sometimes. And I'm curious, what made you want to shoot in slow-mo, for instance, in this wedding? A few shots.
So for we've been playing with, my thing, like where I always say we can't really like we have a very specific couple, very specific, I think, like vibe. So we have to do some things a little bit different. So we, just to kind of like, I guess, just for just to not to I don't want to say change it up, but I guess add some more flavor or special ingredients. So we've been Jack's been doing a little handheld work. My version of handheld is standing still with the camera in my hands.
Still technically handheld.
Yeah, Jack moves around. He's doing some handheld, some slow motion. And we're playing with some different some different kind of things, just to add a little goodness, but keep it in our way of doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. No, I just wanted to peek sort of into that mind of yours a little bit and see.
Yeah, it's cool. The slow motion is cool. Like I think that I don't think that like for I love slow motion, but I feel like for what we do, like it kind of has to be in the right spots. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, totally. I think some of these questions are great. How's the lighting so focused on the people? Is it just luck, or are you bringing handheld light to get those harsher shadows? So do you mind? I know on Make Better Wedding Films, you did sort of a kind of unique, or they did a unique sort of look into your lighting, or that was sort of one of the larger topics. For people that didn't see that, do you mind talking just a little bit about your sort of what you're looking for when you're lighting things in the reception? What sort of look you're trying to achieve? And how do you not get the light kind of spilling everywhere else versus just being so targeted?
Yeah, well, to be 100% honest, sometimes it just doesn't. It doesn't. There's just no way around it. If there's like fill in the room, it just or it just doesn't. If the ceremony's outdoors, we can't get that light, and we have no control over it. Yeah.
Just to briefly interrupt, do you ask everyone to, like the venues, to shut off the lights and everything for the reception?
Yeah, so I actually the week of the wedding, I always speak with our couple. Like I always chat with our couple because by that time they'll have all the details of their day like finalized and everything. So I chat with them on the week of. And then there's a few things that we like to do that I run by them, and one of them is asking for the lights in the room to go down, and occasionally, like if there's a band or DJ that come with their own lights, or if they have lighting that maybe causes flicker in our camera, I run all of that by them and make sure that they're okay, because they spend a lot of money on the lighting packages with their band or venue, or with the venue, whatever, whoever's doing the lighting, they spend a lot of money. So I understand when the venue or the band or DJ are reluctant to not to shut their lights off because the couple paid a lot of money for it and they don't want to get in trouble. So I always run it by the couple first and ask them if they're cool with it. Usually they are. I mean, obviously the couples that hire us because they love that lighting. They love that that pretty dramatic look. So they want that. But in some cases, that look doesn't work out, and that's fine. We do our best. Our lighting is super simple. We try to keep everything super simple. We use Practa lights, and we try to use like one that is sort of like lighting. It depends on the situation, obviously, but lighting from the front, and then we use a hair light. One that's like used as a hair light, and really that's it.
Yeah.
If there's we always have 2 torch lights on hand also. So if there's any kind of like extra lighting that we need for the torch lights, we have that too. But I mean, like that's it.
With it being so dark and then your lights come on that are, rather bright, how does that sort of affect the scene, like the dancers in their natural element? Like how are you able to sort of still get them to be so free or just not self-conscious?
You mean when people are dancing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so when people are I mean that's for formalities. When it comes to like party time, those lights are we just set up the lights however we can so that the dance floor is lit, as like the one that you just watched. We had to, again, like that dance floor wasn't really that huge. We had 2 Practa lights, on for that dance floor. Literally, that was it. So, and we're shooting where the light is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
We used to do a thing where like, we would bring, occasionally we have no choice. You know what I mean? You have to bring a torch light closer up to the subject or whatever. But we really, really like, especially now, we do what we can to like, I just don't like to be in people's faces, you know what I mean? And lighting does kind of like, sometimes it does make people shy away, if the light is like in their face or whatever. I think that honestly, like if it's like an on-camera light and it's on the camera, that's for some reason that's not as like where somebody would like move away. But I think if they feel like they're in the spotlight, then but we do all we can to just have a couple lights on the perimeter of the dance floor and let things happen, but for formalities, that's where we try to control the light.
No, for sure. I see someone asking about sort of your tripod. Like you primarily used to shoot on sticks, but now that you can get that sort of stagnant look with the IBIS, like on the R5, do you feel less inclined to shoot on a tripod, or do you still feel like it gives you that sort of limitation to sort of step back and see the world through, I don't know, there's something about looking at everything through a tripod or from one position versus like, I'm going to walk around and use my zoom and try and figure what looks the best. I feel like having that sort of being locked in on sticks or being tied down can kind of sort of create this sort of creativity that you wouldn't have if you're just sort of roaming around and can shoot anything. Are you still using a tripod all the time, or are you using a lot of IBIS and sort of hand holding to get that tripod look?
Yeah, no, I'm not even comfortable handheld. Like, I'm just physically not comfortable holding a camera without a stick. But people assume that I'm on a tripod all day, but I am mostly on a monopod. So I have a little freedom, and the IBIS is nice even for the being on the monopod. Where it the image is way more steady than when we didn't have the IBIS, or if there's the lens has a stabilizer. But yeah, no, I'm on a monopod. I would say so for the one that you just saw, I was literally on a monopod all day because that was indoors. So if shooting outside, then I'll like portraits or something like that, I'll be on sticks. I'll pull out the tripod. And for formalities like toasts, I like to be on tripod. But even for first dance, parent dances, and ceremony, I'm on a tripod. But parent dances, first dance, and the whole day, bride prep, portraits, if it's indoors.
But say for the first dance, you're not like locked down like on that tripod or monopod. You're still moving around, and then you lock down.
No.
You're not seeing everything from one position, right? Or are you?
No, I'm not. No. I'm not locked down. Like I like to be locked down, but I'll definitely move around. There's always two of us shooting. So like Jack will be locked down, for instance, so that there's always something to cut back to. It's just like one solid shot. And I'll move around, but I don't really move around like that much.
Yeah.
And for dancing, he likes to be handheld. He likes to move around, like for dancing. Even for portraits, he's shooting a lot of handheld now, which is cool because it's the way that he's doing it is like still the Fury Films way of doing it. You know what I mean? So it's cool. But yeah, no, I wish I could be as comfortable with the camera handheld. I just really I genuinely am not. I just am not physically comfortable.
We just taught a class, Sharon, at WPPI about handheld filmmaking. I'm glad to come and teach it to you.
I could use some lessons. Like literally, I have actually tried, and
it goes both ways though, Sharon. Like I would be mortified if I was stuck on sticks all day. Like I would know what to do with myself. Like as nervous as you would be about not being on sticks, I would be nervous about being on sticks.
I'm on mostly a stick. One stick.
Okay, sorry. A stick.
But because I'm only saying that because I would not be comfortable on a tripod all day. I could not do. That I could not do. I could not shoot bride prep and even if we're moving around like indoors or whatever, there's just no dancing. Like I would never be able to do it on sticks, never. So it's kind of like it's an in between, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Kinda.
So I feel like there's last sort of question, Sharon. I feel like there is so much sort of passion that you put into your edits. Like everything is very finely tuned and crafted, and you can tell it takes a lot of time to kind of put together your work. You shoot a fair amount of weddings per year, right? I mean, you're shooting in New York, or the tri-state area, but you're shooting a fair amount, like 30, 40.
No.
15.
My happy place is like 18 is like a happy place. Yeah. And like listening to Christian, I was like, this straight up. So I was a freelance editor first, and now I'm for the first time in my 13 years of Fury Films, I actually have been getting these just these feelings of oh my God, I remember this when I was editing, around holiday time. I would just get sick and it was just, it's not a great feeling having to push out edits. I don't like it. But we had to, because of all the reschedules, I think we took 27 or so last year, which is, it's a lot for us. It's a lot for us because we don't outsource the editing. We have an editor that helps us with the features, but then that then hits my timeline. All the stuff that's posted is me, and then the longer features he helps us, and then it hits my timeline, and I'll do a little re-editing, color, and audio. So it's a lot, it's a lot. But I'm grateful.
You still churn out work that looks, that inspired and that, full of sort of creativity, and I'm always sort of amazed by that. So kudos to you. I see Ray Roman chimed in here. What's up, Ray? We're going to have to move on in a second, but I thought he made an interesting comment. He said, it's all about composition, angles, lens choice, and backgrounds.
Yeah.
Movement is not essential. Sharon has mastered this. Keep it simple. But yeah, it's interesting. There's so many different ways to skin a cat. That's such a weird phrase. I don't know who skins cats. That's but there's so many different ways to produce films, and it's so true what he's saying there. That composition, angles, light, obviously, lens choice, which is so apparent in your work. But yeah, you don't need movement, and it's you have mastered that. So it's really cool to see your work evolve and see, just what you bring to the industry, and how you've sort of created just, such a fan following over the years of just how you sort of brought something so unique to the industry in your films. And I know you're modest. You're like, whatever, I'm not an artist and stuff, but you are like the epitome of, in my mind, of an artist, and the sort of look and feel and choices you make in your films. And, we're so grateful for all your contributions, but also just for, being a part of sort of the VQ family and community, and always being willing to kind of, share your time and your energy, and especially for something like this. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I just want to say, just regarding community and our look or whatever, I also had the opportunity to, to work with and learn from some amazing, talented people in the industry, and then just, kind of develop our own thing from there, which is really cool.
Of course.
And it's awesome. The whole, this whole thing, our industry is really, as much as it's a competitive industry, but we all come together and learn from each other.
Yeah.
And, when push comes to shove, we all just come through for each other. It's, I'm glad to be a part of this today. It's awesome. I really am for the filmmakers out, and not just anyone in the industry that we're whatever we could do for them, however we could do. It's just awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Part of this today.
Last thing I'll say though is, you were saying that you had people that you learned from. I would say that no matter what art form you're cultivating or practicing, you weren't just born and you woke up and started making work the way I currently make it now, or the way you currently make it. We're all a product of our environments, and whether that's
absolutely, yeah,
studying other people, in our same field, as we're beginners, or if that's, learning completely from outside, things that move us from outside of weddings, whether it's commercials or music videos or fashion or, photography or, but yeah, we're just sort of these sponges, and we absorb, information around us, and we sort of take little bits that we're inspired by, and adapt and modify and sort of,
modify, yes.
yeah, and develop sort of our own style over time.
Which is
So
not, that's not easy. That's not an easy feat. So like, yeah, I think that it's really special when you could see someone's film or anything, even a still that they post, and exactly who it is when you're looking at it,
Yeah. Like I would say, I was definitely influenced by Ray early on, but like my work, doesn't look anything like Ray's to the naked eye, but his strong sense of composition or, things like that, I was definitely influenced by early on.
Yeah.
Anyways.
He's one of the OGs.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I'm getting told that we're getting past our time here, but thank you so much, Sharon. I really appreciate
thanks
you
for having
on.
me.
All right.
Yeah, and props to everyone that's involved today. Thank you for having me again, Alex.
Yeah. Well, let's catch up
Hi to
soon,
Whitney.
and keep shining out there, and look forward to connecting soon.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
I just thought I'd pop in real fast, guys, to let you know kind of where we're at with our donations. I am super excited about this. We are at about $4,100 of donations from today now, between the LUTs packs and the just financial contributions. So
wow.
Thank you, guys. We certainly have more LUTs that we can sell and everyone will benefit from. I think we might have one mentoring session left. So yeah,
Monica Frias is the one mentor session, and so she's amazing. So you definitely want to grab that if you haven't got it.
Yeah, she's so super cool. And so thank you guys for everything. Special thank you to Mr. James Palanza for making a super nice generation too. So thanks, guys.
Awesome. That's so exciting. Knowing that you guys have really been called to action here. And I know funds, are running low, gas prices are high, and inflation and everything. But, there's still people that are in much more dire circumstances than us. So I know it's hard to donate in those situations, but your generosity really means a lot. And James, thank you for your very kind donation, and everyone else as well. It really means a lot to us. This is very personal to us, and obviously way more so to so many other people. Just a quick thing about Monica for some people that maybe don't know Monica Frias in the U.S. She is one of the most talented photographers and filmmakers in Europe. And she has such a poetic, editorial sort of fashion style, but it has such an artistic edge to it. But there's a softness to her work that's so unique and different than sort of anyone else. She does like killer music video stuff, fashion stuff. She's someone just said she's insanely good. So take a look at her work. She's very generous to donate her time. I met her briefly in Barcelona, and hope to be able to bring her down for Vision Quest or something like that in the future.
Alex, Bobby doesn't. He has a hard cutoff at 3:30, and he's here. We probably won't have time to do the film reviews because Joey's next. But Bobby in just to say hi to everybody.
Yeah, let's do it.
What's up, Bobby?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going?
What
Bobby,
are you?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. It's been a little while.
Yeah, it has. How are you doing, man?
Doing well. How about you?
Good, man. Good. Just been trying to put this together.
I'm loving the stream, and I've had it on in the background while I've been editing all day. So yeah, it's been great.
Bobby,
Yeah, thank you
why
guys
don't-
over at Wedding Film School for really helping put this together. I know Jason, has done so much, but all you guys have really helped push.
Jared's arm is right here.
Hey, Jared's arm. Nice to see you, Jared's arm.
Yeah. Bobby, just while we're all here, like, how kind of crazy is it that we have so many incredible filmmakers, like obviously on the stream, but also just in the chat? Like, how crazy is this?
This is wild. I think, what's the opportunity to see or, watch Fire and Ice and then Sharon, and that's just two people, right? And we have way more than that. Obviously,
Ray Roman just dropping knowledge bombs on YouTube.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I don't know another place. Maybe Vision Quest might be the only closest opportunity of something like this. Like, this is crazy. To have this level of talent in one place is just insane.
And it's all for a good cause, which is, I think says a lot about our industry.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think one thing that I want to bring up, Alex, before we get to Joey is, like, if you don't know this, there are a lot of editors in Ukraine and Russia. Many of you have worked with them in the past. And it kind of, I don't know if that's what inspired this, Alex, but like definitely created the personal connections that kind of pushed it over the top, right?
Yeah, I think definitely the personal connections. We've worked with editors, one or two that we've trained extensively over 5 or 6 years, and it definitely made it more personal. Just seeing, some people that you've known over all these years, but also it just made it that much harder to just sort of accept that these people that live normal lives just like you, like 20 days ago were living completely normal lives, are in such sort of difficult and dire circumstances now.
Kind of caught in the middle. It's really sad.
Yeah. And I know some people are saying, which I understand, why are you supporting anyone in Russia? And there's definitely truth to that. The reason people were listing some of the editors in Russia is because they're caught up in this crossfire too. They're some of the largest protests that have ever happened in Russia have happened over the past several weeks. Someone who held a sign up that literally just said 2 words. That's what it said, 2 words. And it was 2 words. And within seconds, they were escorted to jail. So they're caught up in this. The people, not the politics, are caught up in this in a way that's, really sad to see, especially obviously with all the sanctions that we're placing on them, which I understand why, but the people are caught up in it. When
if Putin was offering edits, we probably wouldn't be offering those.
Yeah. But I'm not really qualified to talk about any of this, but
nope.
I just noticed a few people mentioning it in the comments, so I wanted to address that.
So, Bobby, you got to peace out soon, but anything you want to say to everybody before you go?
No, good popping in. Keep the stream going strong. I just heard, what were we at, like $4,100 or something like that, which is awesome. And I think we had some more rolling in after that. Awesome deals on some like amazing LUTs, some of which I use. I don't know, about you, Jason, or Alex or whatever, but I've used some of those LUTs personally. I continue to use some of those. Some awesome one-on-one mentoring sessions as well. So really pumped for what this community is doing. To see everybody come together like this is really cool. And yeah, I'm sure it's been nothing but awesome knowledge and, speakers so far. And I know we've got a lot to go. So really excited to, I'll probably catch up on the stream after I get back. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Cool.
All right, man. Have a great day, dude.
See you.
All right. So we got Joey whenever you're ready, Alex.
Yeah.
Or you can play one of those movies.
Yeah, just play the second video real quick. It's like another 40-second video. I'm sorry, Joey. I know you're probably like waiting in there.
These idiots are taking forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, I'm going to play the movie, guys.
All right. If my mic's on,
It
basically
is.
these are all photos from Alex Laurie. He's a journalist, photojournalist, who's been covering a lot of stuff in Ukraine, and it's all just very touching and real, his work. But I don't know if it's seen enough. So, I mean, it's nothing graphic, but it hints at sort of the heart-wrenching nature of what's going on. Cool. Hey, the one and only Joey Matthews.
Dude, now you got me crying over here showing these images. Thanks for having me, though.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on, Joey. Thank you for your patience and waiting. We've been running a touch behind, and I know your time is extremely limited and extremely valuable. So we really appreciate you stepping in for a few minutes to share your immeasurable, wealth of knowledge with us.
Thanks for having me. It's an amazing lineup, and just, yeah, it's cool to, I think I was really excited when Aaron was telling me about this idea for just reaching out and, what can we do to help? And yeah, so kudos to you for doing this, and honor to be a part of it.
Thanks, man. For those that don't know, and for those that do know, Joey owns 31 Films and Film Lab, and they're based out of Houston. And you guys have been doing it now, weddings for, you haven't made a formal announcement, but I think this is 20 years now, right?
Yeah, it's 20 years. It's kind of hard to, when we hit 10 years, it was like, we did it. And then 15, and now at 20, I'm like, damn, this is a long time. It's kind of like when you get to a certain age, you just stop saying how old you are, But no, it's been a good run, and we're still running.
But they do some of the most beautiful, the cinematography, the storytelling, the looks, everything is just so sophisticated in your work, both in a commercial and wedding sort of world, and you do it with such sort of elegance and class, and a timeless look that somehow is always evolving too, even though it is timeless. But yeah, I've always been a huge fan of your work. You guys, when I first started doing weddings, or thought about first starting doing weddings, I saw your work, and I was going to be moving to Houston, and I saw wow, this is what's possible. And it seemed like so distant of a reality to obtain, but you guys gave me sort of that hope and inspiration that that something like that is possible. So thank you for providing that spark and for that inspiration.
Well, you took it and ran with it, that's for sure. Yeah, we now you're inspiring us, so nicely done.
Thanks, man. So let's see here. We have some of your Disney stuff. I've been really excited to learn a little bit more about. You guys did a collaboration with Allure on their bridal collection that's based off of the Disney World, I guess.
Yeah, so they had Allure has a line of dresses that's based off of Disney princesses, and we've been doing work with Allure for probably a good 10 years, and we started doing. So I'll back up a little bit. There's I guess and you can show the video first. I don't know, but It's been an interesting relationship how we've grown into doing weddings, up to doing a little bit of it, dabbling in some of their commercial stuff, and then now it's we're doing a lot of their big campaigns, and it's kind of been a fun ramping up to it.
Yeah, and I just see this as a unique blending of your two kind of businesses or worlds, where it's your wedding work certainly is informed how you would shoot this stuff, or like your sensibility to it. But obviously it's a commercial piece, and you can clearly tell the amount of planning and the lighting and some of the set pieces that you guys utilize, and the fog or the mist that you incorporate, and so yeah, it's just a cool merging of sort of these two businesses that you've developed and nurtured over the past 20 years.
Yeah, right on.
I'm getting some static. I don't know if that's on. Is anyone else hearing that, or is it just me?
It's because of earbuds.
Okay.
These, sorry.
I wonder if you just take them out. Like if I'm not using earbuds and I don't.
Just use just use your on laptop microphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's run that gorgeous video. This isn't the right video. Yeah, you got it. Man, I know there was some compression there, and it's some of the most pristine, gorgeous, beautiful footage. So if anyone is like a video file and pixel peeper, we're doing our best to sort of showcase everyone's films and their talent and their experience and creativity. But I would definitely usher you guys over to 31 Films' Instagram channel, where they've released some of this content from Allure recently. Actually, Instagram isn't the best for showing uncompressed stuff either. But do you have some of it on your Vimeo or on your website?
Yeah, it's on our Vimeo. I don't know, that it's probably more on maybe on our filmlab.com. I think it's on there as well. But yeah, I was gonna make a joke about how the compression is kind of like the new glitch look, and we're kind of doing that on purpose now, and it actually takes a lot of work. But
so this is the one from 2021. This video.
This one, gosh, I think that may have been from 2020. We did another one more recent, but the workflow was pretty similar, and we just went back to the UK to do another batch of them.
Yeah, and you did one in South America recently as well, right?
Yep. January we did one in Mexico that hasn't come out yet, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's been really fun just to kind of work with them, and they're pretty grueling. I mean, it's I think that one was around 5 shoot days, probably 5 different locations around the coast, and you know, we had to share the model in the dress with the photographer, and so the photographer would shoot, and then we would jump in, you know, and then we had another person from our team that was doing social media, like TikTok videos for them as well. So it was kind of like a wedding where you're having to share the session time with a photographer, and you're just getting like a minute here, a minute there. But that's kind of how this was. But it was, you know, in really awesome location with a little bigger crew. But each model we probably had 5 minutes with. I mean, it was very run and gun all day.
You would not be able to tell that was 5 minutes with each model. I mean, it looks so like storyboarded and thought out. I mean, obviously it is to some degree.
Yeah.
Like that mist that showed up, that was you guys, right? Or that wasn't just chance?
No, that was, yeah. So we had a props department, and they had a fogger. You know,
Right.
would bring out props like the mirror, apples for Snow White, or different elements like that. But it was really organized beforehand as far as locations, spots, location scouting and that sort of thing. But once it was go time, it was like the model, we would have to shoot really quick, share that with the photographer, and then she would have to go change it to a different dress, change hair and makeup, and come out, and we do it all over again. And I think we shot 45 dresses in 5 days. So it was, the behind the scenes is kind of funny because it's just like people just sprinting all day, and then you look at the footage and it's just this really elegant, slow motion and everything else.
Well, and you would say for a commercial shoot, you had a lot less control on a project like this than you would for your other commercial work.
Yes. Yeah. This was really the way we started getting into doing these was we had a lure. They saw our demo reel from like a long time ago, and we've been working with them for like 10 years. And they saw our demo reel and they said, "We want this for our company. How do we do that?" And we were like, "Well, we have to shoot real weddings in order to get these real moments." And they wanted all the weddings to be their dresses. And so they came up with this idea that they would do giveaways where you would share your engagement story, and the winner would get free dress, groom's suits or tuxes, and you would get a free video from 31 Films. And so we did this for, probably 8 years, and we're slowly building. I mean, we were doing 3 to 5 weddings for them a year.
Wow.
And building up a demo reel for their company. And once we started doing that, then it was like we mentioned that we also do commercial work, and we got our first kind of big commercial job with them. It went really well, and they were going to like Iceland or Spain and doing all these really gorgeous photo shoots, and the photographer would just have like a friend with like an Osmo camera just going around, and they would ask us to edit these. And so it was like really tough because they're amazing locations, everything looks incredible, but the footage was just, it was a little bit cringy. And so we pitched them, we were like, why don't, instead of just us editing these, why don't you just have us like come and shoot them? And so that one that we just played was our first one to do with them, and they loved it, and it went really well. So we've done 2 more, and I think we'll probably do a few a year, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, the level of quality you're able to produce there in that type of environment. Will you talk to me a little bit about sort of the storyboarding process? Were you guys location scouting that stuff? I mean, it seemed like to find those locations must have taken a lot of work.
No, so they have someone within the company that was handling locations. They were working with a photographer. And so
Yeah, okay.
I would say for us, we had a lot less control. It was more or less like, this is what we need. These are the locations that we're going to. They had a local production company that was handling, food, transportation. It was a very well-oiled machine that we just kind of slid into place and did our thing. And
yeah.
I think once we were on location, there was definitely collaboration with the photographer where it's like, oh, we want her at the edge of this cliff. And then while we're walking up there, we might say, oh, like this beach scene looks really cool. Would we have time to do that? And sometimes we would, and we would get that. And sometimes it was like, no, she has 5 minutes and then she has to like change for the next one. So
yeah,
it was pretty regimented, but it wasn't that much different than like after a wedding ceremony when you just have like a few minutes with the couple and you're just trying to like get some quick locations just wherever you're looking at and make the best of it.
Did you find it challenging being like a solo subject, like being only a bride? Like, how do you get it, enough movement or enough action on screen and not repeat the same sort of prompts, with the action? Like, how did you deal with that?
That is difficult. I think because they're models, and I don't know if people on the stream have worked with models, but good models that know what they're doing, they just do it for you, and you're like, yeah, more of that, great,
Play with the camera.
They're just like, they're doing that. But it was challenging because, so this last one we did in the UK, they actually had like a person that brought out live animals for the scene. So there was like deer and there was like a bunny rabbit and like horse, but like the model really didn't interact with the animals at all. So it worked great for photos, but for video, it was tricky to, some of those scenes didn't, like the photo's great, but the video just didn't really translate. And so we were trying to find what are some little macro movements that we can capture. I think the newest one we did versus the one we just saw, we leaned more into mystery and getting a little bit more of the location. And so we kind of treated it a little bit more like we would a wedding, to where you're going to this castle, like we're going to shoot some really abstract of the sun coming in through this window, and it's just dappling shadows moving or something like that we could use as a transition.
Well,
I think the first time we didn't have as much time to do those things.
Well, and I feel like Disney, it's equally about like the sort of suspense, or the villain, challenging the hero and sort of the hero's like rise. So yeah, it seems like there would be some places to kind of play with sort of the mystery, or not darkness, but just kind of hint at something that's there. Yeah,
absolutely. The newest one, I think they just maybe linked to it, but I think y'all should check that out. That one feels a lot stronger because once we did one of them, we were like, okay, we know what we would do if we went back. And so this is kind of, we leaned more into that mysterious, moody kind of shadows. And because we kind of knew, because you got to keep in mind, like when we did the shoot, our deliverables were like 45 different edits. We did an edit for each dress.
Oh, wow.
And so imagine having 5 minutes with someone and then having to turn that into like a 30-second spot for that dress. So you're having to get close-ups, you're having to get some wide, some movement, and it was just you just have to think really quick. And so our team, we basically had one person shooting handheld, more like 50 or close up, and then we had another person on gimbal so we could get those kind of wide movement shots, and then the other person would be shooting close-up details, and you just shoot as much as you can until the producer is like, okay, they got to go and get ready for the next one.
Okay, yeah. What do you think you could pass along from a shoot like this that, yes, it was controlled, but it has a lot of overlap with weddings? Is there anything that, for instance, with like the solo bride, like that's one of the sequences that I always feel like I get scared of shooting in a wedding. It's like, it's just the bride. I can get her like closing her eyes and then opening them, or like, like looking away and then laughing at, like, but I always felt engaged as a viewer, even though I'm staring at these solo subjects the whole time. Is there anything that you feel like you could pass on to sort of wedding filmmakers to feel more confident shooting in those sort of solo environments, where it's just the bride or just the groom? Or
Yeah, I think what I found is working with brides, the more that they can understand your vision for what you're trying to do versus just, oh, can I get you to look out the window? And then I'm in my mind, I'm like, okay, I got the sequence where I'm going to get her hands and then her face and then the close up of the dress. But if you can weave a story into that, and I would say that you guys do that remarkably well, I think, where it's like, let's have this journey to where you're going into this room and you're feeling this, material on this table, and you sit down and you have a moment. You know what I mean? It's like within those things, you could shoot 8 or 9 different shots, a wide establishing shot of her going in. Maybe you focus handheld close up on her dress as it's moving, so you get that movement in the dress, close up of her hand. You can, I like to think in like sequences, and when the bride or solo subject that you're working with can understand that you're getting a sequence, it's not just a shot, then I think they're a little bit on board. Some people who get it, some brides, they may not understand. That's where I think it can be valuable to show, like if you have a shot that maybe you're freelancing or doing something interesting, just to show them really quick, and you say, man, I'm getting this really cool thing, and they see it and they're like, oh, that's so cool, how'd you do that? And then that can kind of spark their interest to be more involved. But it can be challenging, especially if you don't have a lot of time, and a lot of these brides that you're working with, like they're not like trained models, and so they can't just give you the 1, 2, 3, 4 look and move around and give you all the things that you need.
Yeah. I would like to say, I know we're getting close to the end of it, but after 20 years of doing this, what are some things that just kind of keep you inspired, other than, obviously it's a business, and, you have to provide for your family and for, everyone that is under the umbrella of your business, their families. What sort of, what's something that keeps sort of the fire going?
I think for me, it's a lot to do with the team that we have here. I think it's fun when you have someone from the group that's like pushing the bounds a little bit more. I think the longer you do this, it can be easy to get a little bit complacent and to feel like I can just do A, B, C, D and the client will be happy. But when you have someone from the team that's like wants to push the vision a little bit more, I think like that's something that we have in our group that I'm really proud of. So that kind of drives me, seeing like when someone finishes an edit or a trailer or something and they're like, I watch it and I'm like, oh man, that is rad. And then it sparks some ideas on shooting. And it's just like, it's not really like a competition, but I feel like it's like everyone kind of, pushing each other to be better. And it definitely keeps me on my toes. And I think beyond that, like you said, like we try our best to do work that feels timeless, that isn't ultra trendy. At the same time, you can't just be a dinosaur and do the same thing over and over and over. And so there's a healthy balance of being able to continue to want to be better. I think like for as long as I've been doing this, I feel like the longer I do it, like the worse I feel that I am at it. It's like where before I had like great, I had a lot of, I felt like, oh, I'm really good at what I'm doing. Now I'm like, man, there's so much to learn. There's so many things to grow in. And I think a lot of that too is the community. I mean, even like going to Vision Quest and like seeing what other people are doing, and it's so drastically different than our approach, but I'm like, this is amazing. And so I think, I think those things help keep it interesting for me, because I know that like there's not really a destination of, oh, you've made it and that's it. But like, it can always be better. You can always make little tweaks that make a big difference.
Cool, man. Well, I hope you guys can maybe find the time to join us this year for Vision Quest. We'd love to have you guys back.
Yeah, we'd love to be there. We had a lot of fun.
Well, cool. I could talk to you for hours, man. I'm always just so just appreciative of your work and what you guys have contributed to the industry and how you push yourselves and push others. And you guys really are just a gem as far as what you've cultivated and what your products look like, how they've evolved and continue to, and just you certainly set the bar high and continue to do so. And always, am excited when your new films come out, but I'm always like a little like holding my breath because I know I'm gonna feel semi disappointed afterwards in myself. So
whatever.
Thank you guys for everything you guys do to inspire us, and thank you for taking the time to hang out a little bit today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Joey.
And thank you for the mentorship. Thank you for offering the mentorship, Joey. And it's super, super valuable information that whoever purchased that is going to receive, and it's very generous of you to donate that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do it.
All right, brother.
All right.
Keep shining out there.
How you doing, Alex? You feeling good?
Good.
Do you need to take a bathroom break and I could just kill time?
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
Hey.
But before we do this, though, you were going to say something, and then I'll say something afterwards. Go ahead.
I was just going to give you time to go to the bathroom. It was going to be a fake thing. So you say your thing.
Yeah, I just want to take the time again to thank Jason and his team over at Wedding Film School. This event would not happen at all. I had the idea, and I was able to kind of bring people together, but Jason was very passionate about it, very much believed in it, and put so much time and effort into making it a reality and making this so slick. He had the idea that it could be on multiple forums, and knew all the sort of all the
nerd
kung fu nerd tech stuff to make it happen, and contribute a large part of his team and his time and his efforts. And I know some of you know Jason. You're like, Jason can be the tough guy in their critiques or whatever, but I want to emphasize all this because he is a giant teddy bear, inside.
No one has ever described me that way, but thank you very much.
Yeah, he is. And we love you for it. So thank you, Jason.
All right. So while Alex does that, I'll take over the stream. Jared's here. He's currently doing stuff. What's up?
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Hopefully you can hear both of us, guys. We'll try to adjust this microphone so it's like not blocking Jared's face. But we are going to be doing live weeks. So that's going to be great. We're going to be reviewing some of your films. A bunch of you guys submitted, so thank you very much. If you want to see more live film critiques, we do them semi-regularly on the channel. We're going to be doing them more in the very near future. But today we're doing a special live stream for this Filmmakers for Ukraine. So we figured we should bring to the table what we do, which is talk about filmmaking and talk about your films and give you guys the best pointers we can. If you would like to submit films for the future, head over to weddingfilm.school. Again, that's weddingfilm.school, and you can submit, and you'll get you in the queue. But yeah, today, Filmmakers for Ukraine. Jared, what's it feel like to be part of such a cool event?
Yeah, I think in watching the news, and I don't really know a whole lot about any things that are going on in the world outside of really our world in America. But just seeing all these heart-wrenching stories that are happening in the Ukraine, and as a filmmaker, just feeling so, like you really can't have any influence, and just all you can do is send prayers and thoughts. And this is an awesome event because it's actually a place where you can actually do something and be involved and help people, random strangers, but also help people that are in our community, and just have hopefully a little effect on people's lives in a positive way. So I thank Alex and Whitney for really putting this whole thing together, all the people that are sponsoring this. You guys are all really awesome, and it just emphasizes how awesome of a community the wedding filmmaking community really is. So I'm really happy to be a part, and I'm happy to be your sloppy seconds after Bobby wasn't able to.
Bobby had you're my second choice.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of LUTs in there. Like I think we have. I literally could be totally wrong about this, so I didn't put it together. Alex did, but I'll tell you.
So blame him.
Alex's LUTs are in there. I think we have Matt Johnson LUT. I think we have some Gamut LUTs, which is like the White and Reverie people. I believe we have something from Fire and Ice. LUT has even jammed a few more extras that I'm not even aware of yet. But it's not like 10 LUTs, guys. I think it's like 50 LUTs or some crazy amount. Alex, Alex, you're on. Like, how many total LUTs are there?
Probably like 25, something like that.
Totally wrong. 25, not 50.
But yeah, it's kind of like 2 or 3 per company. But for us, we've never had our LUTs available for sale. So this is the first time publicly that our LUTs will be available. So, and the only time we're not going to sell them. So it's kind of just I wouldn't normally want to give away my secret sauces, but this is kind of the only time that I'm willing to kind of do it, just sort of for a greater good.
And actually, just to be clear, guys, these are going to disappear. I don't know how long we're going to keep them up, Alex. Do you have an idea? 3 weeks.
And that's it.
So you have 3 weeks to buy these, and then they're gone.
Yeah,
so I
You'll
would
never
say,
have this opportunity again.
Yeah, and just to be double clear, guys, if you get these LUTs, you will be one of the best filmmakers in the world. Automatically guaranteed. Make sure you get these.
It doesn't matter how you're. This is what I've learned about filmmaking and LUTs, Alex. You don't need to understand color or shoot properly, exposure-wise or white balance. All you have to do is put this LUT on.
Someone just counted there 29 total.
29 total LUTs.
And we were both wrong. I do have one thing to announce that. Okay, it's fine. Gion Da Silva has offered to add a mentor session. So we're putting that up as well. So there will be one more additional mentor session available. So that's pretty exciting.
Yes. Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, the LUT pack alone is not only are we helping someone, but you're getting a good value. So why would you not buy it? That's what guys. But also, if you got $10, $5, $1, like whatever you can do, I want you to take a moment, click on the donate button, just go over there, donate something, because we would hate to. I look at $4,000 and I'm happy, but I'm like, we can do more. We can do more. So, especially because everybody out here is listening to the How to Film Weddings podcast and charging $10,000 per wedding film now. So, I think everybody we can do more than $4,000. So I'm going to challenge everybody to go out there, make a donation, buy a LUT, do something to contribute to the cause. But without further ado, Alex, we're going to get into some film critiques.
Awesome, man.
So what we're going to do, because we want to have the interest of time, is we're going to kind of talk about the film really quick, give you a little backstory. We're going to play the film in its entirety. And then each of us are going to give one round of comments. And let's say, Alex, something that we loved about the film and something that maybe we think could be improved, or maybe a critique, or maybe something that we think, hey, this would be inspirational to the filmmaker. And then whatever Whitney's saying, of course, do that too.
Yeah, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so I'm dropping into my Guinness.
So our first film, Alex, is from a filmmaker who we know personally, very good filmmaker, and his name is James Palanza. And his company's called Light and Motion Studios. And for anyone on YouTube, I'm going to paste his company name over into the chat so you can go look at their work. I always like you guys to support one another on your films. And so this was a Blackmagic wedding for the ceremony, and then A7S3 for most of the other footage. Two Ronin RS2s, so he's a baller, huh? With and mostly 24-70s, 7200s, and he's got a beautiful 135, which is one of my favorite lenses. So that's what he says. He felt like he grew as an artist from the film and the imagination department, did some unusual things with layering. He's also trying to create his own style, not copy others. So I'd like to kind of maybe think through, okay, we'll just roast you if we think you actually are unique, James. COVID reschedule, so those suck. Typical wedding day, which if in America, that means, about an hour-ish or less for port. So I always like to factor that in when we're watching these films is what were they working with? How did the day go? He shot this totally solo, no second shooter. And that's kind of it. So you ready for this?
Yeah, man, excited. Let's do it.
Yep. So here we go. Why isn't the film? Oh, wait. Here we go. Here we actually go. Alex, looks like we're having that issue. So I'm going to, before I go too far, I'm going to restart. So.
Okay.
We should be good now.
Okay, cool.
Dang it. This thing is just not working. Okay, I'm going to play it the ugly way. Sorry, Alex.
No worries.
I'll try refreshing my page. Give me 1 second, everybody, because it looks so much better when we stream it this way. So I'm going to refresh my page, all y'all, and oh, worked for you?
It's just now going.
Okay. We're good now.
Our love has known many things. It has known surprise and silence, delight and despair, goodness and grief. While our love may not know what it can expect, our love certainly knows what it can endure.
Because this is what love is. Love is not breathlessness. It is not excitement. It is not the proclamation of eternal passion. That is just being in love, which any fool can do. Love itself is what is left over when being in love has burned away.
It was very obvious that what he and Haley had together was already very special, and we were seeing a side of our daughter that we never seen before.
Your temporary divergence and ultimate convergence is a true testament to the strength of your bond. You have proven to one another that your relationship is the priority. You have found your person, your home, the one you see a forever with.
I believe in you, the person that you are, who you will grow to be, and the couple that we will be together. The day I met you, I began to forget a life without you. Our road hasn't always been easy, and we both had our days of doubt. And to this day, we challenge each other and push each other. But with every day I have spent with you for the last almost 9 years, I have felt a comfort I have never known. One lifetime with you is never going to be enough. I will walk beside you through whatever our lives may bring. You are my person, my love, and my life, today and always.
I will always call you home until my last day. More than yesterday, not as much as tomorrow. This I promise you.
So obviously James has chops and knows what he's doing. So that goes without saying, right, Alex?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, he clearly knows his way around a camera, around the editing timeline. I have some stuff I'd love to say, but I'll wait to when I don't know the structure.
Yeah, so let's kick us off. So why don't we each say something that we really loved about the film, just kind of as a just to get started, because we'll do the crap sandwich.
Okay.
Compliment, something in the middle, something positive. So Jared, what did you love about that film?
Yeah, so I think first of all, with any wedding film that I'm gonna really love is getting a sense of the couple and their personalities, and I think James does a really good job of being off the couple and their personalities really well in this film. Like the good, the bad, the happy moments, the parts that are emotional. And like these shots at the very beginning, like almost like peering into their souls, you feel a closeness to them. So that's one thing I noticed right off the bat that I really loved about the film. If we're talking, talking shit about James, no. If we're giving him a critique, I did see a couple things that were more.
Let's save the critiques.
Save the critiques.
We'll
okay.
do our love.
Okay.
So you stole one of mine, which is a big one, which is like a sense of mutual, like just love for each other, which we all know in wedding filmmaking, like not every couple exudes this. And when they do, you better freaking communicate that. Right. And I think this film communicates that love and that connection. Call her. How hard that is to do solo, especially. So I really loved the mix of handheld, gimbal, just kind of either locked down handheld or locked down with like just the camera work is excellent throughout the whole film.
Yeah. Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, badass. Okay, so I think the first thing I would say, a few things that I liked. Normally, when someone does the split frame stuff, they have a tendency to like have the images like right up against each other. I like that there's like a little bit of black space in between them. It makes it a little easier on the eyes. Not many. There you go. That's it right there. Not many people do that. I really like it when that happens. I loved how he's kind of playing with sort of that masked light, with some of the details. Like it's just a little sliver of light, and then he'll put, whatever detail it is, whether it's the plates or the shoes or whatever. That's one of mine that I like a lot. But I'd say the biggest thing that I liked is choosing a song that had a crescendo. Crescendos are really kind of essential for me in my films. It has to have a build because I really want to get to that like faster tempo and a highlight. But obviously it has to have that build.
Let's just talk about this shot.
Yeah.
That's
well,
so beautiful.
There's not someone off camera that's lifting up the veil. I mean, but yeah, it's a great shot.
The light is so good.
I really like the wider ones of this from when they're on the mountain, and it's not wide. It's like kind of a medium shot, but he has to obviously be very far back because it doesn't distort wide. But yeah, some of those further back shots are amazing when they're on the hill. But anyways, the point I was getting to is that I love those crescendos, but when people use them, you have to have enough strong footage to be able to pull it off. Because if you're already 3 minutes into your film, most people have already used all their
That's such a good
shots.
point. That's such a good point. And
yeah,
a lot of people simply just don't pace themselves with their bangers.
Those shots. Those are the ones I like the
Yeah.
best. But yeah, so it shows to me that, he has a strong, sense of composition, but also of capturing enough content, capturing enough content to be able to get to that crescendo and then still have what feels like a second film in there of all new content you haven't seen. It's all very strong. So that to me is a sign of someone that, really knows what they're doing. So.
Right on.
I was going to say to Alexander said, why not all peoples? And I said, we have Russian editors, but also they're not bombing Russia. So that's kind of why not. But anyway, so let's talk about one thing that we think would make this film, because it's not necessarily something to improve, but it's something that we think would take it to the next level. Really, because this is a great film. He doesn't have to improve anything. I think he did a good job. The couple probably loved it, and it's definitely going to get him more work. It's a great film. But about that, so I'll start because I think it ties to one of the things you said, and maybe we have a difference of opinion here, Alex. But I do think when I saw the film, when he hit that crescendo, I just wanted more. Like I wanted it to hit harder visually. With that bomb, done like, and
yeah, I didn't sense that, but yeah, keep going.
But I felt like maybe he got even heavier later in the crescendo, and I would have liked it a little more front loaded in terms of.
I can see that. I see. What you're saying.
But and then the other thing is there was a few spots where he had really terrible light, and my opinion is like when you have like candlelight kind of. And you get these blue tables during the blue hour. I probably would have liked to see some of that white balance warmed up a little just because it's so candlelighty. And I just was seeing these blue tables and blue throughout.
Yeah. I think my take is probably just technical, and then probably one that is a preference. One is the getting the photographer and some of the portrait shots there. Not really my. I think sometimes it can be done, and I probably won't think much of it. But in my case, I thought it was a little bit distracting seeing those shots, those pesky photographers. But you have options there where either you can zoom in or just not even. I think there seems like James had plenty of great shots of them. So I would have preferred not to see it. The other thing that's a preference, and I'm curious to hear what Alex's take on the clock was as the
Clockmaster,
the keeper
Alex Douglas.
the keeper of time, Alex Douglas. It wasn't really my style.
I have some banger new clock sequences coming out.
Right.
Yes.
I think
Time
my
Lord,
preference would have
Alex
been.
Douglas.
I think my preference there, James, would probably be to get some footage instead of like a clip art style clock.
I would prefer to make the couple lay and act out a clock over a time lapse.
Right. That I saw that and I was like, it feels like it's a grain of what you were trying to do. I think something that Alex does really well. Now that we have you on, Alex, we have to kiss your butt as much as possible. Is doing shooting outside of the wedding day, and that's what I think would have been great in that case if you were trying to convey like keeping time. So yeah, curious your thoughts though, Alex.
All good points. I would say the good definitely outweigh the bad, but obviously that's the point of a critique, is to point out the things you like, but then help them improve with certain things. So yeah, I would say one of the things would be the clock for me. I think to me, the masking, like some of the clouds overlapped onto the layers of the clock that made it feel just a little messy. But I would agree, showing an actual clock, like time lapsed, would probably, if you saw that like on the top right, like the shading on it looked a little off. But yeah, for instance, like I'm about to put out a new film where I rented the 24 macro probe Laowa lens and just shot a bunch of the insides of a clock for the film. That's what our logo is, the Sculpting with Time like logo that comes up at the end of our films. It's with 100 macro on the inside of the clock. There's no CGI. It's it's a real clock, but it looks like it could be CGI, but it's not. So that'd be one thing I'd mention. The other I would say is there are a few close-ups of the bride, and Whitney has really kind of keyed me in on this stuff that I probably as a dude would be less sensitive to. But now I've learned the ways. But yeah, she has some like texture on her face, some blemishes and stuff that I would say probably girls, would not want to see of themselves. And so, yeah, using some sort of diffusion, whether it would be, on the lens itself or using like this sort of cosmology, or what is it?
Cosmetology?
No, Cosmo from Magic Bullet, where it sort of does sort of this diffusion stuff specifically for like skin blemishes and just kind of softens.
That's like
it out.
software. If you've never used it, it's crazy. Some of the Magic Bullet facial stuff. Anyway,
would you see yourself using like a black pro mist, like 2 or 3 to soften out those blemishes, Alex?
I mean, I would. I don't know if I'd have.
You would.
A 2 or 3. No, like a 1/4. No. I mean, all that stuff helps on close-ups using stuff like that, but you can fix it in post to some degree.
Yeah, so that's probably the way I would lean.
So let's keep moving, guys, because we've got 2 more films to go through. But great job, James. You're a great filmmaker.
James just said that the clock was at the venue with a close-up on it.
We were all wrong. We were all wrong. But that's why I didn't say anything, because I was like, I don't know what that is.
I would just say that the masking on it, the top right corner, the blue of the clouds comes in on it. So it felt like it could have been a little cleaner of a mask maybe, or overlay, but that would be it.
Yeah, a
good
great
job
film.
shooting it.
Yeah, great
Good job
film.
shooting the clock.
Really good film, and a lot of good stuff in there, and especially because it's a real wedding day. This is a real wedding day. It was like basic wedding day. There wasn't like, I was going to say, I want to see more of the party. And then I saw the party and I was like, I don't know if I wanted to see more of that party. Nothing against it, but it's just in terms of like, I think you made this is the key, guys. If you're, I love what James does because he's out in Pittsburgh. He's shooting these basic weddings, these normal people. You know, no offense, Alex, you're out of the normal people and into another realm. And so it can be easy to say to yourself as a filmmaker, like, oh, well, I don't get to shoot these celebrity weddings at the breakers, so my films can't be beautiful and epic. And I would just tell you, there's a lot of filmmakers like James who are just taking it upon themselves to level up. And I think it's great. So good job, James.
And thanks for such a huge contribution, James, for the event. That really touched our hearts and really, really meant a lot to us and so many other people. So thank you, James.
So this next one is from Fitzgerald Films. He's a member of the channel on Wedding Film School. And so I was going to read you guys. Are you leaving, Jared?
Yeah, I got a call.
Jared has a call, so Jared's gone. So babe, say bye to everyone.
Bye, everybody.
He's got to go make that money. So he says, this was a fun day. It was the first wedding I filmed for friends. My wife and I knew them through theater community we worked professionally in. Filmed on Canon 80D, Sigma 35, 1.8, a bunch of Manfrotto stuff. Canon S with a Sigma 7200, and then a gimbal. Some difficulties were finding the right balance for the backlit outdoor ceremony. Very challenging. And working with friends was fun, and it was a small wedding party, so they let him have a little more time. So this is the name of the film is My Forever Scene Partner. And yeah, let's check it out here. Hopefully I have the right one playing. Every time I do one of these, Alex, I'm always like, did I play the right film? But here we go. Hopefully this works, by the way. It doesn't do that stitchy thing. So
let's stop with the sad stuff. Let's get me hype on this side. Let's see what we got. How about this side? Can you beat them? Let's go, baby!
All right. But last but not least,
okay,
the people that we want to thank the most out of all of this was our parents. Because without you guys, we wouldn't be who we are today as well. Do you want to say something?
Let me get that side real fast.
Party!
Dear Christian, we finally made it. We are getting married and I can finally
see you at the end of the aisle. As I'm sitting here writing this letter, I looked back at notes and found something you wrote to me last year.
You told me you love me and everything will be okay. And here we are. You were right. This is the trust between you and I.
A lot. Oh my gosh. But I promise to hug you tighter,
kiss you more,
and love you harder after that. I hope you know that I love you so much. With you, my heart is always at peace, and I never have to worry.
Then came high school, and with it came Christian. Now I heard all about our crush on him and how they met before when they were kids. I remember all the cute things Christian would do for her. I loved how he respected how family-oriented she was and spent time with her even when life got busy with college and the Army.
Crystal, you're one lucky woman to have Christian as your lifetime partner. He's very lucky to have you as his. And you both bring out the best in each other.
I'm happy to watch you grow up to person you are today. And I love you so much.
Dear Cades, happy 14th year anniversary. This letter is one of the hardest things I ever had to write. I've restarted about 7 times now, because I just want it to be perfect. I'm excited we finally get to have the ceremony we've always wanted, and to get married in front of our friends and family. I'm anxious about what the day brings, but most of all, I'm in love. I'm in love with everything about you. You're absolutely beautiful. I love how I still get wonderstruck because of your many talents. I love how close you are to your family, our family. And I'm happy how big our combined family is now. I love how you continue to challenge me. You've always supported my dreams and didn't hesitate to bring me down to earth when necessary. These 14 years has been amazing. I can't imagine my life without you. Just like how you never gave up on me, I promise to never give up on us. I promise no matter what obstacles we come across, we'll face them together.
And like I said, you always been a part of the family. But now, you're officially my son. You can call me dad now. Ano, mahihain ka. And now show me the dance.
All right, like Christian said earlier, we're just trying to have a good time, right? So let me get some noise from the bridal party right now. Let me hear it. Hey!
Christian, you look handsome tonight. Like your dad. We are pleased with your choice of a wife as your eternal companion and the love of your life.
If you know Ate, and family means the most to her. And one of the things I love about Christian is that he's always respected this. He's been the perfect kuya, along with our Ate.
Now we can finally sit back, relax, and enjoy this new life together. I love you forever.
All right, Alex. So, what are your thoughts there? Why don't we do the same thing? Something we loved, and maybe something we thought could be a little bit improved about the film that would help it go to the next level. I don't mind starting if you want.
Yeah, I'll let you lead on this one.
So, I'm looking at the film and like, obviously, first and foremost, there's a lot of beautiful shots, like, which I know is like kind of a given to say something looks beautiful, but it really isn't. I know like weddings like this can be tricky. So I think he did a good job, establishing all the locations, showing all the important people. And of course, I think I enjoyed the beginning a lot and kind of just like starting out with their personalities right away. I think kind of getting their personalities in there, set the film up for what it was going to be and let you kind of lean into it. Was there's a lot of emotion, but there's also a lot of like, they're very informal and goofy and fun. And I felt like either way.
I was dealing with a lot of back end stuff, so it's a little harder for me in organizing all this event to be as tied in on every moment of the film. So I would say that you said most of what I would say.
Just rephrase it in Alex Douglas style.
I would say there are a lot of clean shots. Cinematography is up to par or, exceeds that sort of standard. There's some interesting choices with the, music going from something a little more traditional to sort of the break beat that comes in, balance between slow-mo and 24p.
And by the way, Alex, this is I said the wrong person. This is Travis Heberling.
Okay.
Bella Tiamo. So
Okay, cool.
So anyway, got that wrong.
Yeah, I like that wider drone shot. Where was this shot in?
Actually, it didn't
Chicago?
say.
Yeah.
He didn't say. Yeah, it looks. Actually, let me see. It looks to me like Chicago or
Yeah, I like that
somewhere.
shot wherever that last one was from. If it was a drone or it looks like they're up higher, maybe on from a balcony, which means they had to be that much more intentional and
actually plan it out.
Yeah.
So I have a couple things that to me could have been would make the film to me hit a little more authentic. To me, especially later in the film, that song work. It was so like hype and so up there, and the footage was really personal and like not hype. And I know that's a challenge when you're editing, by the way, is to figure out like, what do I do with the second half of this film? I told them I would deliver a 7-minute film, all that junk, right? That go with it. But I do feel like I just wasn't like connecting the song to what I was seeing with my eyes. And I felt a little like I felt a disconnect between how hype the song was and how not hype the footage was, if that makes sense. Or even the editing style was kind of slow. It was I felt just a little of a dissonance when I was watching and listening. And I think the best films, the ones that really hit hard when you feel like that sense of relief, you've created that suspension, and then that whatever the song and the clips are doing are just in, they're connecting visually. And I felt a little bit of a disconnect.
No, I see that. Yeah, I mean, the music hit really hard with that sort of break beat. And it worked maybe the first part, but then when the speech comes back in, it feels like not the right tone once he starts talking for that break beat. But I mean, I still salute this sort of stylistic choice, but
well, maybe you could have like edited it a little faster, or like, just like I don't want to say that he shouldn't have used the song, but I just think the way it kind of came across, and I'm sure the couple loved it. I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but in terms of for me to connect with the film, I wanted to be like a shot like this right here. That's kind of stylistic. Like these stylized shots, I would maybe bringing some of those in fast paced and like beautiful and maybe speed ramped and kind of like using them to punctuate the beat.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, I got to say, Grace and Andrew have been waiting for a while, so I don't.
Why don't we get them on?
Yeah.
They can just. I mean, they can click the link whenever they want.
Okay.
Yeah. So tell them to just come on in.
Oh yeah, I want to take one more second to mention Gion joining the mentor sessions. He joined very late, so he's the only one left, but a very good one to be left there. Gion is based out of the UK and does some incredible work. His company's on the Harper's list for photography. They filmed some very epic weddings all across Europe and Morocco. He's got a lot to share, and his experience as well as his just sort of overall vision and charisma is it'll be something very exciting to be part of. His color is amazing too. His editing's not many people for doing like super high-end stuff kind of explore some of the stuff that's more in the hipster realm. Not that he does, but that sort of blending of what's fresh and modern and cutting edge, but still elegant. you know, his stuff kind of checks all those boxes and hits all the right notes. I also wanted to say real quick, I haven't had the chance to mention, but we really need to give a huge shout out to How to Film Weddings and wedding videographers for being so open to allowing us to share in their platforms. They have, you know, very large audiences, and it was very kind of them to sort of, you know, sometimes this stuff can be a little competitive and, oh, these are my users, or, you know, these are my films or whatever. And to sort of just like put down, you know, take down the fences and just really be open to sharing their spaces with us to sort of give us a larger platform and get our message across. So a very huge thank you to wedding videographers and How to Film Weddings, as well, obviously, as Wedding Film School on YouTube. And in the midst of Jason, you know, trying so hard to get all this together, I don't even know if it ended up getting shared on the Facebook page, but he did get it in the YouTube page. But it just shows how selfless he was in trying to make this all work, that he was more concerned about getting the message out there than he was concerned about, you know, his platform. So huge thank you to Jason, as well as wedding videographers, Jody Amos and How to Film Weddings, Nick and John, for just being down for the cause. Thank you, guys.
So we got Grace and Andrew sitting here, so they're ready to go whenever you are. So I apologize, by the way, to Fitzgerald Films. We didn't get to your film, but
let's do it
on our list.
Let's do it privately, or next week I'll hop on, or whenever.
Yeah, we'll do it
is.
another time. Yeah, for sure.
But I'd love to do that privately or in public. So thank you, Jason. Sorry we couldn't do the third one. I know Grace and Andrew were just waiting to get on, so I know everyone would love to hear from them as well. So what's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Grace and Andrew, good to hear from you. Good to see you. It's bright and early there, right?
It is.
The chickens are chickening, so it's I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background. We're on my parents' farm right now.
Oh, it's so
wake up
cool.
like 6 a.m. It's full on. So we've been up for hours. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah. So is that tea or is that a fireball you got hiding in there?
I wish it was Fireball. I went for coffee, like just one addiction at a time. So
Okay. Well, I'll drink enough beer for all of us. Actually, I have to get a refill in a second. I've been in this chair for like 4 hours straight, so it's fun.
That's
but
wild.
This is a great way to sort of tie a bow around it by having two people. For those that don't know Grace and Andrew, I don't know how you wouldn't, but they're Bottle Brush Films based out of Australia. They were beamed into Vision Quest last year and gave one of the most epic presentations and most memorable presentations that anyone at Vision Quest can easily attest for and vouch for. They gave a presentation on branding, but it just shows how passionate and how much they care about their craft, the amount of time and effort and energy they put into their presentation. And I don't know, their work speaks for itself. They just won WPPI, the Grand Award this year, which is a huge accomplishment and something they should be very, very proud of. And their work, how would you describe your work, or would you want someone else to describe it for you?
Oh my God. You want to take this one, Andrew? I always get asked this question. I never know. Go on. What have you got for us?
I'm interested to hear what you guys
very traditional, just
hang on.
run of the mill is what I'd say.
Nailed it.
Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah.
We're weird, and our work is weird too.
Yeah,
I love it. That's great. We're weird and our work is too. That's a great motto. So I would say if I were to describe your work, that it would be fresh, modern, cool, tapped into sort of pop culture and putting it sort of on steroids.
Love this.
And then just a really fun, it's like what people want their weddings to feel like, you know? They want to remember it that way, you know, or that when they dream about their weddings, that's what they want their wedding to kind of feel like. So you've really tapped into like this sort of like vision or dream of what brides want, especially in Australia. I've never seen anyone, you know, pour beer on their chest and spray it all over the place.
I was going to say one thing, Alex. They have a sexiness to their films that is not typical, especially in American wedding films. That is just very refreshing. So
do you guys want to come write all the copy for our website because you talk about us better than we do? You're hired. This is great.
But yeah, you guys are definitely providing, you know, pushing sort of. I love how sort of everyone in this group, or you know, Vision Quest or other filmmakers too, but we're all pushing sort of the industry and boundaries in the industry, but in different directions. There's no like one direction that we all have to push it. And I love sort of how your, you know, own vision, your own experiences have sort of shaped how you make wedding films, and it's completely different than how I make wedding films, but we're both like leading the charge and doing something, you know, unique to ourselves, but unique to the industry.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like wedding filmmaking is such a young craft. Like it's only been around for like 20, 30 years max. Like that's wild.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the youngest like genre, I guess, of filmmaking that I can personally think of, if you're not counting TikTok. But like there's still so much unexplored potential for people to like come in and put their own stamp on the type of wedding films that people produce. Like
I think even when we were doing this, like we've been doing it for nearly a decade, like, and I think even in the first like 5 years, like even like up to 10 years ago, it was like completely different style. Like all videos were really traditional and like pretty long form. So it's even in the last decade, it's changed heaps, which is like, yes, I love that it's now like something that you can compete in and that people are really getting better and better at.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Aaron kind of coined this phrase, you know, high tide rises all ships. And I think that's so applicable to our industry. But yeah, when certain people set the bar and exceed that, then or like even pricing, you know, when I came to Houston, Aaron and them had pushed the industry so far and had set their pricing, and it's like, they had informed and educated the community on what, you know, pricing could be. And so it was easier for me to come in at that point and be like, well, if they're charging this, I can at least charge 20% less than them or 30% less than them. But because they pushed the industry forward and educated the clientele on what the price was, it allowed other people then to come in after them and sort of draft on them and charge something that probably they wouldn't have been able to charge if they didn't have someone like that in their market.
Yeah, and wedding education did not exist when we got into it. I don't know about you, but I know like early days you might have had the opportunity to come to Australia for a wedding filmmakers conference, but it just didn't exist for us, and we could have been saved so many mistakes early days. So it's great that people like you guys are putting things like Vision Quest on, the Wedding Film School guys. There's so many resources out there.
Yeah, there's heaps now. It's actually so good. We also sound so old. It's like back when we started wedding films. I sound like I'm 50. Maybe I am. You don't know.
No way. So, well, you guys have your own thing that you've been running. I know Australia's rules have been a little trickier to navigate, but I'm really excited for you guys to host your next event. Are you guys still planning on putting together an educational event?
Do we make an announcement?
Yeah, go for it.
We haven't actually announced it yet, but yeah, Lonely Hearts Film Camp is coming back in Feb 2023.
Hey, hello.
Yeah, so that's an
Amazing.
exclusive right now.
Badass.
Jason's excited.
Jason's already raving.
Yeah, Feb 23.
Yeah, I'm not going to go though, guys. I'm not going to go. So
Anyway, so stay where you are.
We'll just get Matt Shamloo back. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So 4 nights and 4 days of wedding filmmakers living together. It's like a summer camp for filmmakers, but in Australia in Kangaroo Valley. So
I love it. I love it. Summer camp. That's such a great term. It brings back so many like nostalgic memories, even though I never went to summer camp. Like,
oh man,
I saw it on TV and it looked like a lot of fun. So
how is it that I'm the Aussie and I've been to summer camp?
Yeah,
what's going on there?
Alex and I were not the types of people who go to summer camp.
I literally thought everyone just went to summer camp over there. Is it not like the done thing?
Some people.
Yeah, right.
I went and worked at one in Maine in 2008. So there you go.
Nice. Were you like the group counselor or the one
I
of
was
the group counselors?
I was the group videographer. That's what got me.
Oh,
into film.
okay, cool. Even better.
There you go. I heard you guys.
Do you want me to play a film?
Yeah.
Sorry.
What?
No, I was just gonna say. I heard you guys before we came on saying, thank you to everyone involved. But I think it bears stating that thank you to you guys for putting this on and driving it. It's no small undertaking, and it's amazing and really inspiring to see how much you care about everything outside of your own little bubbles. So we're just thrilled to be asked to be part of this, and congratulations to you guys for putting it on.
Oh, thanks, man. That means a lot. Obviously, it wouldn't exist without amazingly, talented and generous filmmakers like you being willing to contribute and participate and spend your valuable time with us. So I appreciate that. Thank you for honoring me, but thank you more than anything for honoring all these people that could use a little help. With that being said, I don't know anything about politics, or I don't claim to, so I'm going to steer clear of all that. But I think one thing that we do know a lot about is like wedding films. So let's give the people what they're here for. I'm not
really a romantic. I don't believe in love at first sight. Determined to rise.
I'm just going to keep doing this till it works. Sorry, guys.
I like it. Good
worries.
The competitive nature of man took over. He began to believe that those who weren't for him, determined to rise. The competitive nature of man took over. He began to believe that those who weren't for him had to be against him. He wasn't afraid to burn a few bridges or make a few rash decisions to get to where he wanted to go. But perhaps he had it backwards.
I don't believe in soulmates.
Shamara, from the moment that we started working behind the bar together, just seeing how hard you busted your ass every single night, it's incredible to watch. When we would be getting our ass kicked, you'd always have this infectious smile on your face. You were always dancing. When a customer did manage to upset you, you would have me dying with your in-the-moment clapbacks.
Catch myself. I'm nuts? What did I do? What did I do? This man couldn't take a good picture until,
I knew I wanted to be around you, and I knew I needed to be around you. I also vow to give you, and everyone you hold close to your heart, every ounce of energy I have for the rest of my life until I have none left to give.
There once was a mule named Marvin.
I'm super sexy. Super sexy.
No. Oh, yes. Who lived upon a hill.
Our journey began in the deserts of Saudi Arabia.
By the way, you're all naked right now.
Someone have my mouse. Someone has my mouse. Fuck.
40 Love.
That's what she said.
What could this all possibly mean?
What's that all about?
Oh my goodness.
What could this all possibly mean?
My final vow to you is to love you unconditionally, forever, forever.
I vow that I will wake up every single day and choose you. Not love you for convenience, not for the fact that we're married. I will choose to love you for the same reasons that I have ever since the beginning. Because of your open-mindedness. Because of your charmingly blind abandon for decorum. Because of your unfailing ability to make me laugh, and all I want to do is scream. Because you encourage me to love myself as fiercely as anything else.
Wish that you would talk to me.
Marriage is hard. Be patient with each other. When it seems like the odds are against you, remember that the plane takes off against the wind and not with the wind.
Let me just say that I'm very proud of him and I'm proud of Shamara, and I'm glad the two are together. So God bless you.
And then I know it's happened again, but this time not just for me, but for every single one of us here. We are all at the right place, at the right time, and it's right now.
Cheers, my guy.
I will patiently wait for that next right place and right time, but will enjoy the memory of this one forever.
Woo, man, that film was hot. Man, I got chills watching that. I can see why that film won the grand award. I'm glad I didn't submit anything this past year. Oh gosh. There's so many different movements and chapters and ebbs and flows and stylistic choices with the music that just take it to places I wouldn't expect and really sort of pull the viewer in and take them on this sort of magical ride or journey. So kudos to you guys for putting that together. Well deserved of the award. Grace, yeah, you're the Oz behind the curtains. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, just so everybody knows, I'm not the editor. I've never been the editor.
Yeah.
That was 3 weeks of work, by the way. I watched her.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, this actually is a short version of it too for WPPR. They need 5 minutes, but the full film goes for 9, and it's better.
Yeah, I like how dense it is though for being 5.
Yeah,
it really just you're just kind of like, you feel like that scene from Clockwork Orange where like the guy's eyes are like peeled open and they're giving him drugs in his eyes. And,
yeah, the whole thing was supposed to be like I was trying to do like a kind of different way of editing than I usually do, and the fact that usually I do the film in chapters, but there's usually a fair pause in between transitions, like maybe someone says a punchline, we fade to black, and then we come into the next song, and it is very like, you kind of flow with it. Whereas this song I wanted to do like the opposite, and it's basically just like every transition's on speed. Like I didn't want to give anyone a break. Like I wanted all the songs just to bleed like literally dry cut into the next. And so that's why it is really intentionally very like quick cut and very fast transitions and stuff. But it was a nice new challenge. Like I had been doing the same thing for years, and I'm like, I need to mix it up, man. Like I need to give myself something to like struggle with. It was good.
Yeah. So I would say, you know, some of the songs, there's one song that comes up where the beat is like really, it's slow, but it's really like intense and like jagged. It's boom, 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 something like that. It's like 3/4 of the way through before like the 70s kind of sound song comes on. It's like a song right before that. I don't know if you know what I'm referencing.
I actually don't.
Yeah.
There's like 9 songs in this film.
Okay. Wow. 9 songs. That's impressive.
I gotta know which one you're talking about.
Anyways, to me, it was the point. I don't have control over the playback, and Jason probably wouldn't know what I was talking about anyways. But yeah, it was probably one of the more alluring parts of the film for me. So I know there's an interesting backstory with this. You guys, due to COVID restrictions, couldn't fly, right? And so fellow Vision Questers, Eugene and Sunny, I believe, ended up, you probably reached out to a ton of people and did a like very intensive interviewing process or whatever. But you found someone that could work with you. But the point, kudos to them, obviously, for shooting it. They're some of my good friends, but they're very talented. But the reason I bring that up is I'm more curious just how this whole process, how it created, you know, these constraints from the government, created unique challenges to your editing process and sort of allowed you to see things from a slightly different vantage point. You were less attached, like personally attached to the footage, and maybe if that liberated you in a way to see things a little differently or try things maybe in a different way, or you saw a different version of the couple than maybe you would if you were there on the day of, or just how in any way or form it was a different experience for you editing.
It's probably the opposite answer to what you're expecting, but for us, that's a pretty normal process. Like for anyone that doesn't know our process, I do all the shooting and Grace does all the editing. And so it's pretty standard from that perspective because Grace,
so I never go to the weddings. Like
no way, I didn't know that. You never go to the weddings?
I might go to an overseas one if it's a bit of a travel job. I would have gone to Shamar and Tyler's.
Okay.
So I probably would have second shot, but I don't love shooting, and ironically, I don't really like going to weddings. I love our couples, and I love editing and storytelling, but on the day stuff, I have no interest in. Yeah, so I'm very digital, and Andrew's very hands-on, so we're very split 50-50 that way. So I don't think it really...
my stupid question then.
No, it's totally fine. No, it did.
It's a very unusual work process and workflow for a wedding studio that the editor never sees anything on the day or doesn't shoot. But I think that's part of the reason that Grace is so meticulous is that she goes through the footage with such a fine-tooth comb, and her narrative selects and things like that are always so on point because she's obsessive.
I do think it helped a bit. Like it was a different perspective, like having COVID on at the time, like not being able to physically go for Andrew and stuff, because we did have to like liaise with like Eugene a lot more, and we did have to look at like how I don't know how to translate what we needed to him and things like that. Like he's a phenomenal shooter, so like we picked him based on the fact that he was already similar to our style, so it was always going to work. But I feel like it was just like more of a process there, and maybe it was a bit better because we did have to put more pre-production in than we usually ever would.
And we're lucky in the fact that we've had like people shoot for us on a bunch of occasions, and my sort of attitude is not to micromanage people; it's to empower them to do what they do best. And so my direction is always never like, emulate what I do. That's the opposite of what I get people to do. I just say, have fun with it, do what you do best, and shoot your way and shoot it as best as you can. Like there's no, like I think when you get to the point of trying to micromanage even second shooters or first shooters, whoever it is, you micromanage anyone, you remove you disempower them, you sort of disallowing them to have room to play and experiment and have fun with it. So I had a bunch of ideas, but I tried not to push those on Eugene, especially when I felt like it was contrary to his natural shooting style. And I just said, have some fun with it. We discussed a few little things with lighting for the second day shoot, but at the end of the day, like, everyone's got a vision in their head of how they would do things. And I just wanted him to be able to play and have fun and do it in his way and really own that style. So yeah, I think that worked pretty well.
It did.
Yeah.
The footage was great. I had a great time.
and we really worked on, like, we Skyped Shamara and Tyler so much, and
we Skyped them a lot.
By the time we had to have that conversation about someone else shooting the wedding, they already loved us and trusted us. So
yeah, and we got Eugene on a Zoom with them as well, and we all chatted together, and the wedding planner was involved as well, and it was good because, like, they got to kind of connect before the wedding and things like that. So yeah, I think it ran pretty well in the end.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to talk too much about that, but I am curious, evolving that question then, since you don't shoot Grace and you don't edit Andrew, how those roles, obviously you guys are communicating, before the shoot and afterwards, or is there much, are you kind of in your own world, Andrew, and Grace, you're in your own world?
Yeah, we live in two very different worlds. They are complete opposite worlds. I don't think we communicate that much, to be honest.
I guess you're trying to get a sense of whether I come home and I'm like, hey, this is this, use this, or anything like that. And the short answer is no.
I think I work better when someone doesn't give me information, because then you have to discover it, and you're not already given preconceived notions of what the wedding is or what the work is or what the job is or whatever. It's I feel like it's for that reason. For our film camp, I had to give a talk, do an educational talk for an hour, which was terrifying to me because I was really terrified of public speaking, and I didn't watch no one else's talk. I didn't do any research. I didn't look into how you go about it, because I feel like it does makes it harder. The more you know, kind of ignorance is bliss. So I prefer just to get it and just make from it what I will, I think.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
You're really killing your questions.
I know, we're killing your questions. We're we're just really.
No, they're great. They're great answers. I guess with that film, you said it was a little different from how you would normally put out your edits. Do you guys try and, how many weddings do you guys film a year?
Not that many. We're down to 15. A few years ago, we were at 30. So it's just, it changes each year depending on what work I really want to edit that year and things like that. But yeah, 15 at the moment.
At our peak, we were doing 50, but that was 6 years ago now.
And it was so cool.
Yeah. And what do you guys shoot on?
Sony A7S III.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
So I've got two of those, one on gimbal and one handheld.
Okay, so with you guys shooting 15 a year, and I can tell you put a lot of time and love into the shooting and the editing process. If you said this film was going in a slightly different direction, is that something that you just felt compelled to? It was sort of dictated by the material and the couple. How do you sort of stay, just inspired shooting so much and then doing such intensive edits, but at the same time, do you still see yourself wanting to push in different directions like you did on this one? How do you kind of keep that sort of creative mojo kind of going in the shooting and editing when it's requiring so much, of that creative energy during that process?
Oh.
It's a very good question. I think we're grappling with that ourselves at the moment. I think it's something that's pretty universal for a lot of people out there.
Yeah. I think with Shamara and Tyler's, the creativeness came from them, when we booked them and we got to know them. I was these guys are really out there. She's a model and they love being in front of the camera. It's super natural to them. So I knew they would want to work the camera a lot and that it was going to be really high end and really just maybe not a couple that we usually get. We get a lot of Aussies who like, yes, they love the camera, but they're not going to be like, you know, really working it to any large degree.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I think that was what spiked it for this one. We were like, well, these guys want to go all out, so I can. And I had seen, for me, like, I guess, like, I don't know, I get creative, like when I hear a really cool song, like pre-wedding, and I go, fuck, I want to use this. And, you know, when the right couple suits this song, it's going to be epic. Like, I'm going to really go all out for it. And as well, like just watching music videos, and I had seen a Vimeo staff pick video, and it like fucking blew my mind. I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, I need to learn how to edit like that. So that's where the inspiration came to kind of really dig in for Shamara and Tyler's. It was just almost a timing thing. Like I'd seen a film that was like really intriguing to me, and I'm like, I need to give this a go. And they were just, it timed out that they were the right couple that we could do it with.
Yeah, we get a lot of, I think it's like, say, let the couple dictate like the shooting style, the edit, all these sorts of things. And one thing a lot of American filmmakers always say to us, they're like, oh man, you Aussies party so hard. Like all your wedding couples are so cool. And like, yes, that's the benefit of being in the Australian market. We do get a lot of couples that love to party, don't take themselves too seriously, really easy going. But the one thing we don't get is couples that are willing to do like shoots and really like be heavily directed and things like that.
That's the word. Couples who can be directed.
Yeah. So and that are really happy to like invest more in photo and video in terms of setup shots and things like that. So that's really rare for an Australian couple. And so when we had Shamara and Tyler, it was a massive opportunity to like really push the boundaries. And Shamara loves the camera. They made it pretty clear when we first brought it up that they were happy to do anything. So we did a secondary shoot with them, and we did like heaps of directing and posing and all sorts of stuff that we wouldn't have been able to do with most couples that we got here in Australia. So it's about, I think you touched on creative constraints, but it's also about creative opportunities as well.
Yeah. Based on, you said there were 9 songs in that film. I noticed you mentioned also music being, you know, a huge source of inspiration. That's kind of what gets your drive going sometimes, like, oh, I've been waiting to use this song for a while. So just going on that, do you guys, you're really into, you have a huge catalog of music that you pull from, I'm guessing, like it's already saved in folders based on emotions or vibes or whatever. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, we do exactly that. It's like we have music bed, and we've got like, I think I've got like 10 playlists, like, you know, with the, I don't know, up to 30 songs or so in each, just, you know, unique songs, EDM. You guys all do the same. We all do the same thing,
But
I think.
you must be digging quite a bit, because I don't feel like I've ever heard a lot of those songs. I mean, I feel like I dig a lot, but there's some in there that I'm like, well, I haven't heard that. I don't know where that's from.
Yeah, some of them. There was one, the main song in that, the song that ends that film and kind of semi-opens it as well. That's like a Hungarian rock band, and I licensed that completely separate.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was like a one that I'd been obsessed with for a while, and I'm like, I'm just going to buy it. I want it. It's going to be great. I need it.
That song has so much vibe for sure.
I love it, and like they, and that stemmed from the couple as well, because like the groom said he really liked I can't remember what he referenced, but it was a lot of really kind of cinematic instrumental music. And he said he really liked instrumental, not lyrical. And that kind of, I can't remember what he referenced, a couple of movies anyway. Tarantino movies, and some, there was like a space movie or something like that. But anyway, I basically was like, this song's perfect for them because it ticks all the boxes. And it ticks my box. So
I feel like you guys would make like the coolest Tarantino wedding film like ever.
I would love to. The opening of that was like Tarantino inspired, because the groom loved Tarantino. You can see the exact same font.
Maybe we need a bottle brush / sculpting with time collaboration for that.
Hey, can I just say, good fonts go a long way. So.
Yes, dead set. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so on the font wagon at the moment. Like every wedding, and I'm like, new font to suit the couple. Like, if you're rebranding, your font's half of it.
I know you guys announced something very special for your audience in February. I'd love to take a second to announce something that we've been kind of talking about.
Sure.
We are going to be having Andrew and Grace come to Vision Quest and the end of September. The dates are
Coming to
set.
that one.
Nothing's been announced, but yeah, the dates are set. I think it's what are the dates, Grace and Andrew?
I'll have to look them up.
Yeah, it's like the last week in September.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna be doing lots of cool stuff, and we've been kind of planning Grace and Andrew's entry for a long time. We got kind of into September, wedding film school into September. But yeah, we got kind of held hostage with COVID last year in 2020. So we're finally excited to sometime at the end. Just looking at the comments. But yeah, we got a really special lineup this year that we can't reveal yet, but we always try and do things a little different and kind of off the beaten path. And you guys were such a freaking just highlight of the experience with you guys not even being there. I feel like you should do half of your presentation edited, and then you come on halfway through and are like, yeah, that's us.
Yeah, we just pretend that we're gonna do it digitally.
Oh my
again, and then
God.
just burst through the curtain at the end.
I literally
that would be
had the best
perfect.
idea, and I'm gonna do it, so I'm not gonna say it now. But I just had the best idea.
We could project on paper, and then you could literally burst through halfway through. That'd be pretty
But I
cool.
just digitally introduce myself at the end of the film. I can be like, now
Yeah.
here's Grace and Andrew. What up?
Yeah. Anyone watching this that wasn't at Vision Quest is like, what the hell? We had a lot of fun creating our presentation.
It was so fun. I actually was the most fun I think I had all year, which maybe is sad or really good. I don't know. It was so fun. Yeah.
Yeah. That might have nearly taken as long as the film that we just watched.
It was so worth it. It was so worth it.
Oh man. Well, we've been slowly chipping away at our recap video, and it'll be out next month.
Oh my God, I can't
but
wait.
you guys make a huge appearance cameo in a huge crescendo moment, talking about wanting to go on a vision quest.
Follow
Such
me.
a good line. Yeah. So
Yeah, we filmed that in a park, and there was some random dudes cutting laps around us, and Andrew's like, "You're gonna do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care. I'm not embarrassed. I'm just gonna do a whole strut through the middle of the oval and be like, follow me on a vision quest."
such a good line.
It was so fun. I wish I could have been there in person, but it was
Yeah,
fun.
the FOMO.
It was nice to be able to live beam in and do
Yeah.
the questions after and talk to everyone. That was really cool.
Yeah, I
Everyone
feel
was
like we made the best out of this situation, and so much so that we're adopting that strategy to have a few people, even if they could come, to do pre-edited, simulcasted presentations.
Nice.
Yeah, because we're all wedding filmmakers, and we know how to edit better than we know how to talk.
Accurate. So
Smart.
accurate.
I like it.
And Grace, we're gonna have to learn how you do your patented dolphin scream.
Scream.
I'm fucking weird, man.
We are going to spend a day by a waterfall and a rope swing at the next Vision Quest. So that's
Perfect.
element.
I don't know if you know this, but dolphins love rope swings. So that's
Yeah, and waterfalls, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they're native to the waterfall. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll be there. You'll see it. We'll capture it, slow motion, play it back later.
You could dolphin twerk off the rope swing or something. Yeah.
I thought this is a new goal in life for me, and I'm not unhappy about it.
Sorry, I've been on here too long, guys.
Yeah, it's really inspired. Love it.
But no, we're super excited about having you guys. You're amazingly talented, and you just bring something so fresh to the wedding community. And I think you just have that it factor that you find in each one of your films. But obviously, that's just a tribute to your talent and your vision. And yeah, there are plenty of people that are putting out films in Australia and New Zealand, and their couples aren't you're not, what's the right word? You're not like, they're not, I feel like your couples are like having like like they're being exercised. Like they're just like, they're like, I don't know, having this out of body experience. And that obviously has something to do with you guys. And it's not just all weddings in Australia are like that. And I think
Thanks, man.
that's pretty cool.
That's very kind. Cheers.
What are you guys most excited? I know we're probably running out of time, but Jason, do you have a question?
Oh no, I thought you were winding up.
Okay,
So I was.
I'll ask one more question. What are you guys most excited about this year? From like something you can kind of retool, or a shoot that you're really excited about, or something you feel like you can add to your films? Not like give away a secret, but just just something you're, I don't know.
What are you excited about?
We've got 2 films sort of. One's fully shot. That's going to be Grace's longest highlights edit ever. We shot shot a 3-day influencer wedding in Sydney in February. It was wild. I'm really curious to see what Grace does with that, because it's meant to be about a 20-minute edit. And we've got another wedding. I caught COVID in January and I couldn't shoot it. We had a guy shoot it for us here in Melbourne.
Such a theme here.
2 guys, 2 grooms getting married. One was wearing a cape of feathers. It's going to be epic.
Oh gosh,
it's all like Disney inspired, because they're obsessed with Disney. So we're kind of making it really like romantic and dreamy, and it's going to be cool.
The first dance wasn't covered properly, which they did this big rehearsed choreographed dance. So we're going to do a reshoot of that and own the fact that it's a reshoot. So I'm really excited about that. We're planning to shoot in a couple of weeks. We're going to do a ballroom style, sort of Disney inspired footage for that. So there's a few things on the horizon that are exciting and interesting.
I'm doing my first doco this year, so that's my exciting thing for the year.
Wait, you're doing your first what edit?
My first documentary. I'm making a doco.
Oh, wow,
I'm very
cool.
excited. Not wedding related, but it's it's cool anyway.
What's it on?
It's on a jewelry brand here in Melbourne. They do all like Billie Eilish's jewelry and all this stuff, all this crazy shit. But it's this woman. She's completely mad in a really cool way, and kind of just like an artist piece on her and how she got the business and things like that.
And so did you seek this project out, or did it find you?
I sought it out because I've been obsessed with her work for so long. I pitched it to her and she's like, let's do it. So it's been going on for a couple of years, to be honest. It's really been a long process because COVID's kind of pushed it all out. But yeah.
We started shooting that in January last year.
Yeah, shit.
So it's been going a while.
That's so rad. I feel like the projects that you seek out, you're so much more passionate about them, and you have such like a vision as to what you want them to kind of become. And they're a lot more personal to you because you're actually just excited about them. But they end up opening so many, the whole adage of like, you want to put on your website what you want to attract,
Yeah, 100%,
So same goes with commercial or doc stuff. Like if you're seeking something out in particular, that's what you're going to have in your portfolio that you can show off to other similar brands or, other people in those type of that sub genre are going to be attracted to your type of work.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm doing it as well. Because I want to just like create something like really out of the box, like the opposite of what a doco usually is. So I'm like, I know I can do it with this brand. And then hopefully that will be like where I go with docos long term. I don't know. We'll see. Just a bit of fun for now.
Cool,
guys. I was going to say, I love you guys. You guys are always so generous with your time. So super appreciative.
The feeling's mutual, guys. Thank you for having us on. This is a fantastic initiative.
I know you guys are awesome for doing this, and it's been so fun. It's been nice just to talk shit with you. Thanks for
I know. It's a lot of fun. I'm like, we should do this more often.
We should.
But I know we did it when we were starting Vision Quest last year. We just had like a night where we were just drinking and hanging out.
That was so good.
But thank you guys for offering one of your mentorship sessions. I know that's a lot of time on your part, so that was a huge contribution and donation on your part. So we very much appreciate it, and thanks for coming on as well, especially early in the morning when you couldn't have a fireball yet.
sacrifices we make for a good cause. You know, we're pretty great. Like
We'll
that.
go have one now. It's fine.
All right. Well, look forward to seeing you guys in September, and thank you guys so much for coming on, and keep shining out there. Excited to see what you put out next. Can't wait.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right.
See ya.
Alex, you did it.
All right, man. I guess so.
You made your way through a stream. How do you feel?
I mean, I'm not like the podcast personality, but I do know films, so I hope I was able to not be an imposter and carry my own weight and not bore everyone to death and provide some sort of interesting, useful information.
I think you did great. I think it was incredible. And the biggest thing is I think we helped some people in need, which is always amazing. We want to help people. So I'm trying to get the final number, but it looks like we did over $5,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah, which is just so far. And I did want to remind everyone, these are actually good LUTs. They're not just like fake throw-ins. So they're good LUTs, and you have 3 weeks to buy it. There is an extra mentor session available. I think Yone is still available, I believe. So I would encourage you to go snag that, because whoever gets it is going to really, really take advantage of it, enjoy it. He's definitely a great person. And the LUTs are available. Am I correct? 3 weeks, Alex? They can go
3
grab
weeks
them?
is the cutoff. But yeah, I think everyone that's on that list has such a unique sense of color and is sort of at the top of their craft, and has a different take on color too. Some very interesting European filmmakers on there that are masters, from Riccardo Fazzoli and With Heart Films in Greece, and then people like Henry and Gamut, which is White and Reverie's brand that they work with, and then people like us that we've never released anything LUT pack related. So it has like our Italy LUT that we custom made, our France LUT, one of our Palm Beach LUTs. So they weren't just throwaway LUTs that we put on there. There are things that we are very highly associated with our brand and that we put a lot of time into. But it's also the only place we'll ever offer them, because I'm not the type of person that wants to make a profit off of selling my look. It's not a bad thing. I'm more like, I want to hold on to it. It's my precious, but this is like a worthy cause. And so I'm happy to, give that away for something like this.
Yeah. And when you think about what does it mean to be an artist, it means you're bearing your soul. Every part about what you make is essentially you, right? You're putting yourself out there, and there's that vulnerability. And I think, when you think about connecting with other human beings and extending our art out there, these artists, you included, are kind of giving you insight into their process. And that is something to be treasured, and it's worth much more than $50. So if you're out there and you're like, I'm looking for inspiration, I'm looking to connect with other artists, I say, why not just go grab it? It's going to help a good cause. And also I think it's going to help you make better films.
Yeah. And I'm going to go on, and I've already donated 1,000 before this started, but I'm going to go ahead and donate another 500 right now, just because I don't want everyone else donating and not myself, even though we've both obviously donated a lot of time to put this on. But so I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. But I do want to just say, a huge thank you to, I know it's kind of a little silly that I keep on saying this, but I can't stress it enough. But just a huge thank you to everyone involved, everyone that took the time to watch the stream, everyone that donated their time to participate in the stream, amazingly talented filmmakers that we were able to bring together. Obviously the Facebook forums, wedding videographers, and How to Film Weddings and Wedding Film School, for being generous enough to share their platforms. And, you know, everyone that did a mentor session, that contributed to the LUTs, and last but not least, Jason. Forever indebted to him for, you know, recognizing that this was really important to me, but to a lot of people, and for just offering his time so freely and generously to make this happen. So Jason McCutcheon, thank you. And obviously all the listeners and participants, thank you guys so much. And I do think, I think we have one more last little video from Ukraine, and it's from the town of Chernovitsky, and it's sort of their relief station, where they're collecting a lot of goods, medicines, foods, and supplies. And this is one of the places where my $1,000 I specifically saw, where our money went. And it really was like a really heartwarming moment for me to I mean, it made me cry just seeing like, wow, this is direct impact. It's not just some intangible thing, giving to, you know, an organization where who knows how many employees they have, and, you know, how long it takes for money to get to where it's going, and how many hands it touches. It's direct hand to mouth impact. And so it's just a short little video. It's like 45 seconds, but it's pretty cool. At the end of it, one of the guys, you know, says, "Thank you, Wedding Filmmakers," because he knew that we were putting on this event. So yeah, if you can just put that on, and that'll kind of be our closing statement. But have that utmost respect for everyone involved, and I'm glad we can make a difference. You know, even just the smallest difference. I've talked to a few Ukrainians, and they said, you know, it doesn't matter how much money you can raise. It's really just the effort, you know, showing that like you guys care about us, and that we're not just, you know, being forgotten. And so all of us here just honor those people and their stories by being here and showing up and showing that we cared. So thank you for honoring them.
Thank you, guys. We're going to just play this film, and then the stream's going to be over. But don't forget to help people and be good to each other, guys. You know, this is a tricky time, but people are people, and you just spread the love.
Thank you, Wedding Filmmakers, for your support. We stay strong. We are Ukraine.